Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
You complete me.
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, hope everybody's having a wonderful Super Bowl Sunday. Welcome to the Shit List once again. I am Tom Connors. We have got a shit list for you tonight. We've got Scribelight here tonight. How you doing?
I'm Scribe Lit, that's right. And the ice cream man's in the background of somebody's microphone right now.
I'm your
Ice
ice cream
cream!
man. Stop me if you're satisfied.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing good this evening and having a romantic Sunday. That's what we're here for, a romantic Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
That's not
but
me.
We also have CC Karaoke. How you doing, CC?
Doing all right. I bought some ice cream an hour ago.
Ice cream's
I
good.
kind of want some.
What flavor?
Vanilla.
Cherry.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm a vanilla guy.
Yeah.
How plain of you.
Yeah, that's mighty white of you.
Mighty white.
Oh, I'm very white.
Yes, you
So
are.
white.
The whitest man I know.
Wow.
Right next to probably Brian is probably the next whitest man.
Well,
I
good
know. I
evening.
mean,
And I really
Canadian and Scottish. I mean,
thanks to Scribe and CC, I will not be able to get Van Halen's Ice Cream Man out of my head for the next week. Thank you.
You're
Well, it's a great song, but thank you.
also
welcome.
joining us, we have the Price of Reason. How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Doing all right. Glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here as well. I was on mute for some reason, but then I wasn't.
I don't know. Not on our
Yay.
end, you weren't.
Strange things are happening, but I think it's okay now.
Josh evidently only likes part of the Neapolitan ice cream. He won't eat the
Mm.
chocolate part, see? So you're that guy.
Yeah. Josh, how long have you been a communist?
You know what's strange is like that's like my favorite ice cream when I can't decide what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Multi-purpose.
Like you're like, fuck it, I'm getting Neapolitan. It's got all three different kinds in it. Whatever.
When I was a kid, I thought it was Napoleon ice cream. That's what I'd say.
Me too.
Oh, I want some Napoleon ice cream. Like what?
Me too.
There you
That would be
Napoleon
very
knew,
small.
knew what was good for him.
go. Yeah, exactly.
It is the greatest ice cream. I don't have to choose one. I get all three.
Oh, baguette fromage. Oh.
Tiny little one.
And Tox, of course, is on his way. We got a pooper sticker from Six, but it's not showing up on the StreamYard side of things. So I apologize for that, Six, but thank you for the pooper sticker to kick things off. We appreciate that here at the channel. Any support helps. We also have Scott Westerbrook, who's sending in a super sticker. It is a pair saying, keep it up, pumping some weights. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. The 6th one was from Thursday. That's why I don't have it here. Oh, that makes sense.
That would do it. Back in time.
I was looking at the mod group, though. I was doing my job. G-Dog's here, and he's got a super sticker for us with a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Share out the link. Let everybody know we're live. We're counter-programming tonight a little bit. And I caught that 6. It's from Thursday. But thank you for being here in the chat, at least. And I see so many regulars already. We got Mars Monkey Max. We've got Sticky Syrup everywhere. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before. Welcome, unless you're a new person in the chat or somebody that just changed their name. I mean, we got Daryl Brewer here. We got Monkey Jeebus. How you doing? We got Larry in the house. How you doing? Rob Altus is here. Josh Hammond's here. Matthew Marcillo. That's a new one too, I believe. Tornadoes is here. We got Davina Duckworth, Doba Fett. Some regulars right there. We got Old Trucker here. Says vanilla is his favorite. So there you go. You're not alone. Yak No Mino's showing off some ice cream too. Everybody's having ice cream tonight, it looks like. I had some chocolate ice cream in between the show. Don't tell Mikey. Yeah, we got Coffee Lover here. We got FKHC 2005 here. Jason Webster's here. How you doing? We got, let's see here. Dr. Coffin Nails is in the house as well. Welcome everybody. Penny's here. DS Ford. So many regulars. Sean Stackhouse I saw in here earlier. Hit that like button. Share out the stream. Let everybody know we're live. So yeah, as soon as Tox gets here, we'll get rolling. But yeah, so now 6 sends a pooper sticker. Now 6 sends a pooper sticker. And so did CC. Thank you.
Mine's
I
less
like pooper
valuable
stickers.
though.
Is
That's the
it?
Canadian poop?
Canadian
There's only-
poop is less valuable.
It's better behaved though.
It's because you guys eat so much poutine, isn't it?
Oh.
Poop teen.
Ugh.
And then we got Brian as well, bringing in the facts here with the Canadian toonie saying, "Lick My Love Pump" is the most romantic song ever. Well, it's written in the saddest key,
It is.
D minor, which is
It's not. It's not in the devil's key.
Oh my!
The devil's tone.
Oh my! Well, with that, let's talk a little bit about Valentine's Day. So, Brian, you're married. You got anything planned with the wifey for Valentine's Day for special stuff?
I don't know about special. I guess there will be flowers, and hopefully, I will get some flowers this year. There will be flowers. There will be cards. There will be expressions of eternal and undying love.
You
And
want to know a good trick? Get
and
her
that'll
ice
take-
cream.
That's right. And that'll take about a minute, and then I guess it'll just be another day like any other day. It's been a long time, you know. So, Well, you
So
still are-
instead of just rolling over, you just say, "I'm glad to have you," and then you roll over.
it's usually, oh, thank God we woke up this morning. Oh, you're still here.
6 sending us some luggage. I guess she's sending us packing.
Oh.
Oh no. Yes, and Lick My Love Pump was a part of a musical trilogy that never did get completed. This is true. Just like Saucy Jack. So yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get rolling here soon, which is funny because I think Tox made himself first on the list. He did. So
of course he did. You have to wait for him now.
Mm.
so I'm like, well, we could get started, and then no.
We know that his choices will all be Rose and Brokeback Mountain and things like that. So
It's gonna be Breaking to Electric Boogaloo. Oh, here he is.
oh, yeah. Speaking of
sorry.
Brokeback Mountain,
Yeah.
Was this all
we
a
were just
plot
making
to make
fun
sure
of
that
your
we're
possible
what?
picks.
My romance picks?
Yeah, we were like, it's gonna be Breaking to Electric Boogaloo.
Those are love stories.
they are.
Yes.
Yes.
So good evening,
Death Wish
Tox.
is a love story.
Hello. It's been a week.
It's a love story between a man and his gun.
Yeah.
Man in his revenge.
You know, Cherry 2000's a love story.
It's true.
It could be a love story.
He does love those kids.
He does. I mean, if we're really going to talk about, Jeffrey Dahmer, he loved
Yeah.
things.
Mm.
He did. He
So I
loved them
found
so
out in
much.
Canva.
He wouldn't let him go.
I can do the presentation when I create it. It'll give me a link that I can send to you, and you can run it.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything. It just clicked it and it's there. So yeah.
Bam, and it does all of the animations and everything. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So,
All I had to
Look
do
at
was
this.
read.
what that
Happy
guy doesn't
couple.
know is that she's laced that popcorn with strychnine.
You know what
Yes.
she doesn't know is he just farted. Look at his face.
That's right. I
True
just
love.
creamed in my pants, baby.
True love.
Might be a turtle head poking out there.
Yeah.
Oops.
But all right, you're right in time. You're right on time. We got one more super chat before we get started here. DCB Titans in the house sends in 5 Canadian. It says, from the latest trailer, looks like Deadpool 3 is going to be meme movie about Disney fucking up Marvel and ruins of 20th Century Fox. I hope it's something like that, but
Mm.
to me, it looks like Homework the movie. That's my,
I think
Bravo.
that's funny. Homework the movie is very funny.
yeah. Because if you
Very
haven't
true.
seen Loki and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it feels
They'll probably bring that up in the show. I mean, or in the movie. I have no doubt that they're going to mention the fact, like, oh, do you have no idea who the TVA is? Well, let me tell you, you have to go watch Disney Plus. Okay, bye.
And then Six sends us in another super sticker, a $3 one. Well, thank you, Six, being so generous tonight. Let's see what it is when it pops up here on my other
Kitty
side.
weaving bye-bye.
Aw.
The China Ibu waving bye bye.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's not a kitty. Yeah, it's a Shiba Inu.
Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on.
See, I thought they were corgis.
Well, on my channel, his name is Dogcat Fox, and he's a
Dogcat Fox?
Dogcat Fox, because when he first started popping up in super chats, we had no idea what it was supposed to be, so I just call it Dogcat Fox.
That's a good point. But all right, let's get rolling, guys. Since we've got almost we got over 250 of you watching, hit that like button, share out the link. Oh, and Kitty Bear has been a member for 23 months, almost 2 years. Holy crap! Thank you for that, Kitty Bear. But all right, let's get rolling here because the first one on the list is for Toxic Man Flu. That's why he did that, so we had to wait for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I just did mine first in case there were any dupes, and then
no worries,
weren't.
Tox. But you got
So-
a Song is Born. I think. Do you mean is it Star is Born or Song is
Is it-
Born?
A Song is Born. Different.
One man and his horn.
Not
man and
familiar
his
with this
horn.
movie. It's about a oh, so what does he do with that poor horn?
Okay, so yes. This is one of my all-time favorite films. It stars Danny Kaye, Virginia Mayo. What a just a fantastic pairing. But this had I'm a big I used to play in a jazz ensemble and pretty big with swing and with that jazz era in the 40s. Benny Goodman, Tommy Dorsey. So the guy with the trombone is Tommy Dorsey, one of my favorites of all time. Tommy Dorsey was killed during World War II on a secret mission. He was a part of the OSS, and he and his band went down and some other stuff from there. So Louis Armstrong is in this, Lionel Hampton, Charlie Barrett. There's just tons of musicians. And this is, they've been studying, trying to get perfect music. And here comes Virginia Mayo into Danny Kaye's life with these musicians, the bachelor life, and that. she's a nightclub singer. Honey Swanson is her name, and her boyfriend Tony Crow, who's Steve Cochran, is they're on the wrong side of the tracks, and the entire movie is just how cute and innocent the people, the guys who are in the music, professors, and how they, he doesn't understand about women, and he learns about a lot about life on the streets and things like that through Virginia Mayo. This came out in 48, so this was one of my grandmother's favorite films. She graduated high school in 38, around in there. So great story, great love story. In the end, of course, Danny Kaye and Virginia Mayo's characters get together. So Danny Kaye's character's name is Hobart Frisbee from there. So just things you can have with cute names and stuff from there. But the music's great. Jive, swing, jump, blues, Dixie, boogie woogie at the time, and all that stuff from there. Things are really
Well,
going.
that's a name you
late
could never
40s.
forget because it will always come back to you.
That's right. Hobart Frisbee comes back in his Australian form
It's true.
from there. So when you're talking romance and comedies and stuff like that, this always comes to mind. I almost put it number one, but there were others I think it would be more popular, so I did it that way. Thank you for letting me
Sounds
talk
good.
about it that long.
No, man. I've never heard of it, so yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Then we've got Scribe Light up next with The Fifth Element.
Yes, well, obviously.
Well, The Fifth Element is love, right? Spoilers.
Okay, well, good job just ruining the movie for everybody. Jeez.
Coming, Tom.
Plus the fact
Multipass.
that my number 5 is The Fifth
You're
Element, I
spoiling
thought was
things like
appropriate.
Bob Iger.
But yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I
Classic
saw it in the-
movies.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I can't count how many times. Like the soundtrack is amazing. Everything about this movie is great. But it might just be me, but honestly, the chemistry between Bruce Willis and Mia Jovovich, or however you say her name, really works for me. I mean, it's kind of goofy. It's not necessarily the main focus of the film per se, but I love their chemistry. I love the romance element of it, and of course, like you say, the fifth element is love. Yeah, this is one of my favorite films of all time. I got like the super duper deluxe version on DVD years ago that I think is out of print now.
Didn't her husband direct this film?
Was he her husband at the time?
I don't know.
Luc Besson, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You just love putting her in next to nothing clothing and throwing her in situations.
Oh, sure.
It's just saying, yeah.
She doesn't seem to mind it either. So there you go.
No, and neither do we. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But yeah, also one of the few films where the hero and the villain never actually meet, which is
true.
I always thought was interesting.
Gary
But,
Oldman did a great job in this film.
Oh yeah,
what
no, I mean,
what a superior pick on your part. This was great. I saw this and realized I didn't have to put it in my list.
yeah, if not only for the plot element of what the fifth element is, the fact that I just love this movie, and I don't think to this point I've had it on any of my previous lists for anything, and it just seemed appropriate. So, and if you haven't seen the fifth element, holy cats, are you guys in for a treat?
Do you have
go,
to see the
watch
first
it.
4 first?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I was wondering.
You know, this had one of
Hold
the
on a
best.
second.
This had one of the best trailers. What? Oh,
I'm sorry, I had to do Rimshot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and it didn't play, so my fault.
Oh, I remember this had the best trailer I ever saw at the time because it didn't give anything away about the movie. It was just this giant 5 in outer space, and it just said "It must be found," and I was like, "What must be?"
Nice.
I was like a little kid. I was so curious, like I have no idea what's going on, but I'm so intrigued because it's not giving me the whole movie in a trailer, which was a rare thing at the time for me. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I got to see it. And then, anyway, there's my fifth element sales pitch.
Indeed. I think it's wound up on like one list before, but yeah, we haven't talked about it. too
Okay,
much.
there you go.
But there you go. So moving on, we've got Price of Reason. I knew somebody had to bring up the Terminator.
It is.
Terminator.
It's all about love.
The first movie is a love story. As we were actually talking before the show, everything that matters in this franchise basically happens because of the relationship between Kyle and and Sarah Connor. I mean, yeah, they only spent that one night, but as Sarah said, they loved an eternity. Or is there a line like that?
Actually, yeah, I think there is in the second film, but yeah.
They
Or maybe it is in
loved
the first film.
loved
I
a
can't remember
lifetime.
which. Yeah, loved a lifetime in one night or whatever, yeah.
That must have been one heck of a night.
Hmm. And we get
Oh,
to see it.
Destiny.
So it's romance. And really, I mean, even not spoilers, but who hasn't seen this? But of course, the whole idea with John Connor and all of that stuff. I mean, it matters. I mean, yes, there's the Schwarzenegger element, and it's sort of a slasher film, but it's a slasher with a real romance in it. So I feel like this is a worthy fifth entry into my list.
I agree.
It is one of the hottest love scenes probably in cinema history, probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she really worked out for the second one.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez. Her and her sister.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to believe she's a twin. But, you know, and her sister
even
has
weirder
nothing
is
to do
her-
with the movie.
Yeah, but she's in the second one, yeah.
She's in the second one, right.
Yep.
She wasn't in the industry. They just had her in.
Yep.
You know,
Just as a stand-in, yeah. Just like the other guys that were twins, yeah. And what's sad is her sister passed away. Was it last year or the year before? I think it
I
was.
think so. She had
Oh, that's
cancer,
so?
I think.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
uplifting thing. All right.
And they squeeze hands. It's very artsy.
Yes.
Good pick, Price. Good pick. I knew somebody would.
It's good stuff. Winner, chicken dinner.
Then we got CC coming in with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind for his number 5 pick for romance movie.
Yeah, so I rewatched this yesterday. I wanted to see if it was as good as I remember it. And, it's just Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet really sell the performance in this movie. It's a believable relationship. And really, I would recommend coming back to it for that. I mean, Jim Carrey, I loved him when he was doing, Ace Ventura, but he's a great actor. And I love it when he has the chance to do that. I'm a fan of The Majestic as well with him. And yes, okay, we're in 2024 and blue hair hasn't really held up as well as it might have in 2001.
Yeah, that's true.
But the relationship between the two of them is timeless and it's organic. I'm not sure there really is another movie like it even now in that sense. They do so much with their physical presence. And not that I don't think there's a sex scene in it, but just like the physical acting, it's not a whole lot of, it's not so based on the dialogue, the way they communicate the highs and the lows of the relationship. And I can relate insofar as I've definitely connected with girls like this in the past, but I wouldn't forget it. I wouldn't want to forget those experiences for all the highs and the lows. I'm glad I had them. It's just that rewatching the movie, I realized I'd forgotten that Mark Ruffalo's in it. And that was a little bit traumatic.
Mark Ruffalo's easy to forget.
Yeah, he is. And, if I forget that he's in it again now, I might come back and watch the movie again in the future and have to go through the trauma of realizing that he's in the movie again.
Well, maybe isn't that kind of apropos to the theme of the movie itself? Yeah, you keep forgetting about Mark Ruffalo. It's like, just like
It's got a good concept, a great concept actually. It's it is about these two, and I don't know if the movie needed anything other than just these two sell it.
Mark Ruffalo is one of the most mediocre actors to ever become kind of a thing.
On a brighter point, it also has Elijah Wood and Kirsten Dunst in it, which gave me a bit of a positive memory of of Spider-Man and
I
all
had
that.
something like this in my second marriage. It's not that my memory was erased, but my bank account was.
Yeah, they have a way of doing that, don't they? It's I have yet to meet a girl who's not expensive. Ever.
It depends which establishment you're going to. CC.
Yeah. It's just,
That's very true.
It's not a comment on saying they're all awful. It's just like somehow or another they always end up being expensive. I don't know why.
I used to work across two of the cheapest strip clubs in Oklahoma, and yep, it does not cost much. Wow.
Cheapest strip clubs in
Will
Oklahoma.
cost something.
That sounds like a movie title right there.
It does.
Have they got that in
Yeah,
their, have
not
they got
starring Dolly Parton.
have
No.
they got that in their advertising? One of the cheapest
Cheapest
strip
little-
clubs in Oklahoma.
It's the cheapest strip club that's in Oklahoma.
It's a
You'll be
chain store called the
disappointed,
Dollar
but-
Whore.
You'll be disappointed. But for
That's right.
once.
Oh Lord.
The clappiest little whorehouse in Tulsa.
You're guaranteed to catch something.
That's right. Yeah, there's no women on the panel. We went straight into hookers, didn't we?
Hey!
Hey, all right.
Holy
Love
crap.
is love.
6 sentences in a bunch of stuff. She and this is a spoiler alert. Yeah, that was my fault for the Fifth Element. But thank you for the $1.99 spoiler alert.
6 says she's going to clip it. So now
I'm sure she will.
She's going to remember that I said that forever.
Yeah. But all right, moving on. Anybody else got anything to say about Eternal Sunshine? Other
What
than
an odd little film.
I'm gonna blow everybody's mind and tell them that I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
I
You
do
might
have
have.
it,
You
though.
might just have forgotten it.
I may have. They may have erased it
Ooh.
from my mind, just like Total Recall.
You know, it's a good movie, but at the same time, if you never see it, you're still going to be okay, in my opinion. I saw it many years ago, and I thought it was kind of.
That's a glowing
I
review.
praise indeed.
I mean, I saw it years ago, and I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting. But then I never thought about it again. It's not that I said, wow, this is so interesting. I want to watch it again. It was sort of artsy. It has that Michel Gendry or whatever his name is, I think, directed it. And people at the time were like, he's so artsy. There's so many surreal things that happen here. And yeah, I guess if you're in the right mood, it's cool. But I don't know. And Jim Carrey, like Cece said, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet really carry the movie with really solid acting. But when you really think about it later, I think that a lot of it kind of fizzles out and just disappears.
It's cute, but it's not profound in any particular way. I mean, take away the gimmick of losing the memory, and it's just kind of a cute movie. But it's all right. It's cotton candy.
Well, I mean, come on. You're so hurt by this chick deciding that she, leaves or whatever, that you're going to erase your memory. I mean, man up, bitch.
There's
Jeez.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you just, at that point, move to Canada. They have,
Should have
they
just
have
got
health
someone like,
plans for that.
should have just
Yeah.
got someone
Brian.
like Charles Bronson to erase her memory or something like
Oh, there you go.
I have this on 4K. I'll have to watch it eventually. I'll let you guys know what I think.
No. There are other films you haven't seen that you need to see before.
Oh, I'm sure. This is
Yeah.
just in my pile.
Yeah, put that at the bottom of the pile. Back to
All
the
right.
pile.
that. Cover it over.
What else we got here? We've got 70s rock
What?
band with Brief
Oh,
Encounter.
yeah.
I actually even have 5 movies on this list. I can't believe that. This was the most challenging genre for me to do. I think the only 2 worst genres would be,
So this was just you talking about your love life.
briefs encounter. It's about underwear.
At the cheapest
Well,
whorehouses in Texas, in Oklahoma.
Exactly.
The only 2 genres harder for me to do would be French New Wave cinema and Vogon poetry.
Oh, Vogon poetry. You could do Vogon poetry.
Vogon poetry is great.
Because
Hey.
having grown up on science fiction and action and horror and martial arts and other movies, the romance parts of movies were the bits I used to just fast forward through. Think, what a waste of a piece of a movie! But grudgingly, I had to dig into my collective memory of
Chuck Norris gets
movies.
laid in plenty of his action films.
Exactly, it is. Yeah. So I did find some, funnily enough. Now this is Brief Encounter is a 1945 British classic directed by the great David Lean, written by Noel Coward, and starring it's starring not young people, which is great. It's not a young couple, Celia Johnson and Trevor Howard, and that actually makes it all the better because they're experienced actors and they're playing middle-aged people who have a random encounter in a railway station. And these are two married people, but married to other people and have been for years. And yet they suddenly realize through this chance encounter and then subsequent encounters, they actually love each other deeply. And it's an era when you couldn't do anything about that, or you could, but it would be socially unacceptable. We're talking 1945, still a very conservative, straight-laced Britain. And so therefore, what are they going to do? You know, they're not going to just throw, like now, they just immediately ditch your current partners and off they'd go. So there's none of that. So it really conveys their inner turmoil with a lot of nuance, a lot of emotional intensity. There's David Lean employs a lot of great lighting, the flashback and voiceover stuff. Very intimate, very intense, and like most of the ones on my list, ultimately doomed.
Nice.
It's unconsummated and doomed. And it is a situation I think that happens to a lot of people,
That's
or probably did.
Very British, though.
Yeah, they're straight-laced, stiff upper lip, but they've realized that they've actually met the person they should have met years ago,
Right.
and they love each other deeply. But the situation they're in, there's very little can be done about that. So it's extremely intense as a result, and very, very bittersweet. I mean, it's an old movie. Spoiler alert! But it's an old movie, but it doesn't end happily. Not that they get slaughtered by a robot or something, you know. It's the guilt, the longing, everything in there is played so well by these two great actors. It's just
I don't get slaughtered by a robot. So what you're telling me, it's not as good as Terminator.
That's right. And nobody gets shoved in front of a train. So, but trains do feature in it.
It's just like British. Bad teeth, bad food,
Yeah.
frustrating love lives. It's
Exactly.
extremely English. Yeah.
It's poignant, and it stays with you. And I think it's a reason it's quoted as one of the most the greatest British movies ever. So that's about all I got to say about that.
All right. Another one I'm not too familiar with, but all right. Moving on, we've got my number 5, Grease. I mean, the whole movie's revolved around romance and relationships, so I mean, it's kind of difficult not to pick it. But I
Some
mean,
forced
overall,
relationships.
some forced relationships. But I mean, as far as this goes, I mean, John Travolta and
Olivia
Olivia
Newton-John.
Newton-John had just such great chemistry together, regardless of how gay John is.
She was amazing in this film.
Yeah, even though she's like
Sanity.
5-10 years older than him, but yeah.
Yeah. She didn't look at the film, but you know,
She doesn't look in the film.
They're high school students, everyone. High school students.
high school. That's right, high school. Just like The Outsiders. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy was better before she turned into a slut at the end.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I liked her better when she was schoolgirl.
What you
Well-
doing, stud?
What's great about the movie is that it's a whole like examination, at least the movie itself, not so much the play, but I mean the movie is kind of more of an examination of people like trying to be somebody they're not for
Mhm.
somebody they love, right? Like that's kind of the whole point of the film at the end of the day. And both parties are guilty of it, but yeah, the ending is kind of like, well, isn't that kind of going against what you were saying for John Travolta? So it's okay for the goose and not the gander.
Right.
Whatever.
No, but
You know?
he also changes for her. I think that
That's my
idea of
point.
movement,
Yeah.
they change for each other. They both go through a process and they evolve.
I think they're better together than they are
Like
apart.
Grandma Lama 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 Shumin Bing.
That's
Badong,
right. We'll always be together.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
from there.
and all
But I
that
mean, he lettered in track, which I thought was funny. He smoked so much and he lettered in track. That was a 50 smoke.
That was back then when cigarettes were safe.
That's
I
right.
don't know how he smoked so much and hit those high notes too.
That too.
You know, that's just the way it was.
You know,
I mean,
I do. I argue that cigarettes were just safer back then. They just didn't.
they didn't
must
put all
not
the
have-
chemicals in them.
It must be because yeah, a lot of these guys, you know, they could still hit these high notes and shit, but yet smoke 2-3 packs a day in some cases. Like what the hell?
Maybe he didn't swallow.
Oh, he swallowed.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Cigarettes.
I mean, it is John Travolta.
I
after
love
all.
this movie. I'm glad you picked. This is one of my mother's all-time favorites.
It's one of his top 3 favorite movies of himself, John Travolta.
Yes.
Well, it's his highest grossing film, as far as I know.
Beauty School Dropout.
Also, am I mistaken in remembering
Mhm.
that part of the deal is that he got a percentage of the soundtrack rights afterwards?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's
So I
never
think
stopped making money off of that.
And those
I
songs
think
are
he made out like a bandit on this.
Because
one.
this was
Yeah,
after
exactly.
Saturday Night Fever, right?
massive hits. Grease.
Was this? I think this was
This
just
before.
before Saturday Night, wasn't it? Which one was first? That's a good
I
question.
thought Saturday Night was first, but I could be wrong. Well, the,
You
the,
might
Grease
be
was
right. 'Cause I think
78.
Saturday Night Fever was 77. I think you're right.
I think the stage
this
play,
would-
Yeah,
the
this one
stage
came out
play of
after.
Grease, stage play was probably around before Saturday Night. Saturday
And
Night.
that's
Yeah,
probably
stage play,
why he
definitely.
wanted.
Yeah.
He got, I know he got paid a lot for this. You're right. Yep, because he got paid, I think, $1 million or about more than that at this time. And of course,
He
that
got
was a lot of
nothing
money.
really out of Saturday Night Live.
No, or Saturday Night Fever, yeah.
Sorry,
And this was the highest grossing movie of '78. That I know.
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
soundtrack was mega. I mean, those
This was
songs
hot.
were hit
yeah.
singles for 6 months at a time, each of them. They're just
Plus,
Incredible.
every so many years when they get revived, like don't even. I'm sure everybody remembers the Grease Mega Mix being played
yeah.
endlessly.
yes, yeah.
Remember, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic
Athletic
supporter.
supporter.
Ding 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 ding. Stop. Oh,
But I figured if I didn't put this on here, since nobody else did, that we'd be lynched. Since it is
Yeah.
kind of one of the.
I think we're
ultimate
gonna be
romance
lynched anyway.
films.
I'm
sure we will.
I actually will even tell you that I generally don't like musicals, and usually they annoy me for some reason. But Grease is an exception because I think that the songs are strong. I mean, it's a strong soundtrack. If you're already going to sit and watch a musical, I think that this one is pretty much legitimate to watch.
You know what's funny, Price, is this is in the group, the handful of musicals. When I bring them up, people are like, "Oh, well, see, that doesn't count." Right? So like, I hate musicals, they're fucking stupid. But what about Grease? Well, that doesn't count. What about Rocky Horror? Well, that's different. You know, like, what
Right.
about
There's
Little
a
Shop
few
of
like
Horrors?
that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
more of a comedy horror than it is a musical. Are you sure? What about Blues Brothers? Yeah, I forgot that's a musical, but that don't count. Like, you know,
Your
I mean, those are
archetypal
usually in that
musicals.
5 musicals that people don't consider musicals, but they are. You know what I
When
mean?
you have actual talent, in their prime doing something and it has kind of a cool, iconic pop culture vibe, I think people can get past it. This isn't like The Greatest Showman or one of those stinky things. This is it's a real movie.
Right.
And
But
nothing
it does-
personal if you like The Greatest Showman, but you know what I'm saying.
This is a
No,
lot
but it
of
does
fun.
rise above that. Is my
Grease
point?
is
Yeah.
fun.
And then there's the other ones that you can argue, like American Graffiti and Saturday Night Fever, like we were just talking, that some people do still consider musicals because even though they're not physically singing the songs, they're just chock full of pop hits and the music is such a big part of the movie itself, right? Or like, your favorite
then
films.
Reservoir Dogs
Thomas.
is a musical then.
Yeah.
right. Well, I
Technically.
mean, I'm sorry, I missed Tom. I was typing something.
I was talking
can't-
about Breaking and Breaking 2 Electric.
Breaking and
Boogaloo.
Breaking 2 are musicals, of course.
Yeah.
They're also dance flicks. They're dramas. They're about street gangs
Like Life in
and
the Streets.
fashion.
And
So
you
it's
get
like-
to see Jean-Claude Van Damme dancing.
It's
Exactly.
true.
Oh, Lord.
I
People
mean,
don't
it's
realize
Jean-Claude
this.
Van Damme.
I
Saturday
think
Night
that's why it was
Fever-
such a big hit.
Let's do some Van Damage.
Well, I mean, Monty Python and Holy Grail is a musical
What were you
and
saying,
a
Price?
drama and a period.
I was
piece.
saying that Saturday Night Fever, one of the problems is that there's 2 versions of the movie. One is the one that's kind of, when you look at the plot and things that happen, there's some pretty dark things that happen there, especially one scene
yeah.
towards the end there in that car. And then there's another version that they sanitized it, removed certain things, and made it kind of a PG type of movie.
Yeah, you cannot really get the PG version anymore.
It's a street movie. It just so happens. that the
But
guys
yeah,
are
what
disco dancing.
what Price is talking about is something they did to a couple movies in the 70s. They did it to MASH, they did it to Grease, and I'm trying to remember what else they did it to. But they would create PG versions of them so kids could go see them too or whatever. Yeah. And
I mean, I could share a personal story that would be relevant to what we're discussing, if we have a minute.
sure.
So basically, I once met John Travolta, and I had a conversation with him, and I actually brought up, because we were talking about movies, and the movie Saturday Night Fever came up, and he actually told me that he didn't love that there was that other version of the movie, because it kind of gave people the wrong impression about it, because he saw it as a more kind of dark movie that had real drama in it, that he was actually acting. And some people kind of consider it, like you say, more of a musical, that he's just dancing. And because they may have seen a version that doesn't quite give the full picture of the movie. It was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, and they've pretty much, like, to my knowledge, not since the days of VHS have you been able to get the PG cut. The versions that are on disc from DVD onward have all been the R-rated cut, or now the director's cut as well, which is only like 3 minutes longer than the R-rated cut. But yeah, I've
And
never
we-
actually seen the PG cut, to be honest with you.
I just saw it in stores. I know that it exists. I've seen it before, and it
Oh
came
yeah,
up.
yeah.
It was one of those rare occasions that I, got to meet and talk with a person like that. That's more of a sort of, I don't know if he's an A-list or what he's considered, but it was really, and he was nice in person. I know that sometimes in the press, I don't know what's been said about him, but all I can say is in the conversation I had with him, he was really nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to some super chats here, because we got Six, who has her list here with $5, saying Breaking Dawn Part 2, Breaking Dawn Part 1, Eclipse 2, New Moon 1, and Twilight. What did I tell you guys?
Those are not movies. Those are not movies.
Because they're like, why is Six not here? I said, because all her list would be Twilight film.
Those can't be real.
If I knew we could pick not movies, I would have picked some other things.
They made 5 of those films.
They did.
Mhm.
Grand Admiral Adams has been a member for 11 months. As Casablanca, 50 First Dates, and Princess Bride would be on my list. Well, there you go. Some of those might pop up on the list tonight. Thank you, Grand Admiral Adam. And then we've got Rob Altus, who's been a member for 31 months. Holy crap. Says, I love 50 First Dates. Adam Sandler in surprisingly good performance. Yeah, well, maybe we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We've got Six with another list here, who says the movie with that guy with the radio over his head, but not that movie. That's number 4, 16 Candles. Number 3, the Thong Song video. I didn't know we could pick music video. Serendipity, and then Twilight. But then she says, oh shit, I forgot about The Notebook.
And we all
And she also forgot about Titanic and has to
man.
redo her whole list now. So I think we're going to come back to that.
Oh man.
Thank you again, Six.
Titanic?
Yeah.
That's
One
a
fan,
love story?
I guess.
Between the
There's some
iceberg and the
room.
ship, maybe.
I was about to say.
It's a love story about a selfish bitch who leaves a guy to drown because she doesn't
Yeah.
Exactly.
share
She wouldn't
her-
let him on the door.
That's manslaughter.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. She's like, I'm so cold. Get away from me.
You know, the worst part to me is when she goes to heaven, she's like, fuck my family and husband. I'm going to go see Jack, the guy
That's
I fucked
right.
on a boat 40, 50, 60,
And then
70
left
years
to
ago,
drown.
whatever it was.
Mhm. Yeah, the guy, I just want to tell him I'd let him drown again. Yeah.
One fan sends in $4.99, says Fifth Element is his 5th pick. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, 3 Men and a Baby, Spider-Man 2, Godzilla -1, but really
I
Casablanca.
see what
That
they
was
did
clever.
there. You see
Ah, it
what
was
the
clever.
fan Did there, yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, very clever.
You know, the only one that I would question be 3 Men and a Baby, but there is romance in it. But it's like
Eh.
way near the end. It's kind of like tacked
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Proceed.
Yes, indeed. Let's keep moving here. We've got Scribe Light with Harold and Maude. Now, this is one I've never heard of, or I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. And it's one
Yeah.
I put on my list to see, but I know it's a really awkward film.
It
So
is.
Tell us about it.
So, those of you may recognize the male star here, Bud Cort, as the first version of God in Dogma. If you don't, I forgive you. But yeah, this movie. I saw this when I was a teenager.
Wasn't he a
and
TV, like a kid star in a TV show too? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember.
Not The Courtship of
honestly.
Eddie's Father or something like that, or it's one of those shows.
I don't recall, but either way, Bud Cort in this, for his age at the time, I suppose, amazing.
He's an
actor.
actor's actor. That's my point. He's been
Yeah.
around forever.
Yeah, no, he definitely is conducted himself professionally in this movie, but this is a very quirky, oddball romance movie after a fashion. It's decidedly not your average romantic movie. The humor in it is so dark. It is, I mean, morbid it might be putting it mildly. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want anybody to be unsurprised by what they see in it. But it is. It was the first time when I saw this as a kid. It was the first time I'd ever even seen something like a quote unquote summer winter romance. And the relationship between these two is so cute. Yeah, yes, like you said, awkward and unique, but it's also unforgettable to me. Some of the scenes in this are so shocking, but so hilarious at the same time, and how these two and the chemistry between the characters and the actors, it's so genuine, and it's so sweet by the end of it that it just sticks with you. And like I say, I don't want to give anything away, because even when we're not talking about like some M. Night Shyamalan twist movie or something, the elements that make up the relationship and spell out the characters, you really have to see it without being told to experience it. But I would definitely recommend, if anybody who's into quirky movies and has decidedly, you have to have a little bit of a morbid sense of humor to enjoy some of it. I definitely recommend it. And I wanted to, I've got a couple on my list that are a bit obscure, but definitely ones that have stuck with me most of my life.
Yes.
Hello.
Gil.
Oh, okay.
Gil-
It was quiet. So quiet. Like, did I
Gil.
get cut off?
Man, what a horrible pick. Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's a bit awkward. When I was a kid, I thought, but they fall in love, they get together, and I was like, but she's old. That was kind of my like. It didn't click in my head that
She's gonna die and leave her money.
Can that happen to people?
The tension is in determining when she's going to die, guessing when she's going to die.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Oh, what happened? You make sure you make her food.
But yeah, so if you haven't heard of this one, definitely give it a shot if you
It's
have the
certainly an
opportunity.
unusual one. I have seen it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Different, very different.
Well, you're not alone. You type in romance movies or whatever on Google, it comes up usually as one of the first few.
Well, it's definitely a taboo subject kind of thing when this came out.
Oh yeah, and when I saw it as a teenager or something, it was still like even though it was like years and years and years old at that point, I was like, this is so bizarre. But it's also, but the relationship is sold so genuinely that it's hard, it's impossible to deny the chemistry and the sweetness of it by the end. So
there you go. All right, we've got anything more to say on Harold and Maude? All right, we've got Toxic with Spaceballs.
This is a romance?
Oh shit, there goes the planet.
Yeah. She's gone from suck to blow.
Oh, that's the most romantic part of the
I'm
movie.
an honest to God prince. Yeah, so Spaceballs is many things. Probably one of the few perfect films that's ever been created. But there's a virgin alarm in this. How much more romantic
go off before you do.
Exactly. 1-800-DRUIDIA. Oh God.
She didn't look Jewish.
A Jewish princess. Yeah, when I think of romance, I think of Pullman and Zuniga. So what a great film. And like I say, that said, it's got it all. So it's got high thrills. It's got people combing the desert. It's got Dark Helmet. It's got toys. It's got Dick Van Patten. It's got everybody in it. So great film. May not be on the level of Harold and Maude, but I mean, her hair can deflect blasters. She basically has Beskar armor as hair. So there you go. It's a great film.
Harold and Maude would have gone on a date to the cinema to see Spaceballs. You guarantee it.
I said across her nose, not up it.
Yeah, we got a super chat here from DCB Titan. Says, I said across her nose, not up it. Sorry, sir, I'm doing my best.
I'm doing my best. Who is that? Asshole, sir.
my cousin,
Major
sir.
asshole.
He's an asshole, sir. Major asshole.
Some of my best friends are as.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, asshole.
They've jammed our radar. Nobody gives Dark Helmet the raspberry. Yeah.
Lone Star.
It's
Oh my
Pizza the
God.
Hut. Yeah, there was my favorite villain from the last time I was here. Pizza the
That's
Hut.
true. Now, Spaceballs has been on many a list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great film. Yeah, and it was a cheap shot. I could have brought up the Twilight films. and did
No,
six half.
it's got a romance in it. It works.
They end up together, right?
Yeah.
Jim J. Bullock's in it as the Sleepy Prince.
Oh, that's
You know?
right.
Oh yeah. And then we saw him
Game
on
of
Hollywood
Thrones.
Squares.
What's your name? Barf. Your full name. Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. I'm a Mog. I'm my own best friend.
Oh, Prince Valium. I was
Are you
trying to
gonna
think of his
groom?
name.
No,
Yeah,
I'm the
Bartholomew.
best man. Then you get over there.
I think it's such a classic spoof that I almost didn't think of the romance element, but it's not untrue. It really does have a romance and it does work.
We're
But
doing the quick version. Do you?
I love when
Jumped
he's
right down
watching
the aisle and out the door.
when he's watching the videotape of himself and then he's like, in fact, never play that again. I don't know why I always love that.
Oh, yes. I love that stuff.
Do
Pizzas.
you?
that
Yes.
I
Do
send out
you? Yes.
for
Good.
you.
You're married. Kiss her.
He was so good in this film.
Uh,
I could go on
Career
for, but yeah,
highlights.
there's a romance in this. So
Rick Moranis, it's like his best movie, has to be in my opinion. Even how good he is in
Mhm.
Ghostbusters, there's nothing better than Rick Moranis' Dark Helmet within his repertoire.
yeah, this movie doesn't work without Rick Moranis. Right.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't.
Strange
I don't know.
Brew is hard to. I don't
There's
know.
two
Yeah,
sides
Strange
to the
Brew's good,
short.
but I mean that
The upside
that
and the
doesn't count because
downside.
that's a Canadian movie.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, we're talking
you're
about
right.
yeah.
You're right.
He and Mackenzie brothers, great. Was it he that was in the vat of Labatt Blue that had to drink the whole thing?
Yes.
Yes.
He
Yes.
walked out and he goes, "I gotta pee."
Oh, good
man,
God.
that was a good film.
for donuts. Don't listen to him, eh?
He's a
He's a-
hoser.
He's a
He's
hoser.
a hoser.
All right, moving on. We've got Price of Reason with an XXXXXXXXX.
Oh no.
Yes, this is later up in the list.
Dixon
Debbie Does Dallas.
That was a romantic movie. Yes.
Yeah.
All those X's.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cheapest strip club in Oklahoma.
yeah. I'm gonna have
make
to write
this
that
movie.
down.
You can be disappointed for less.
Starring
That's
Burt
got-
Reynolds.
Yeah, make that a movie title or a book title or something. Somebody.
Oh well.
All right, CC's got, and I knew it had to be inevitable that somebody would have to pick Lady and the Tramp, probably the most
Yeah.
romantic Disney film ever made up until Beauty and the Beast. So go on, CC.
Well, I noticed he had both in the trailer, and Beauty and the Beast is a good pick. There's a whole bunch of Disney movies that really could go here, but for me, anyways, growing up, you know, remember when they had those VHS cases for all the Disney movies that were more like books? They had those kind
Right.
of like soft
The
covers.
big
It's not just the
clamshells.
sleek-
Yep.
Yeah, I love those things. And this was always on my shelf. It's the movie that I watched maybe even more than any other Disney movie, really. It's the one I'd keep popping in there. And it's just, man, they don't
make them like this anymore.
know. They can't,
Boom,
like,
boom, boom, woof.
the
Boom, boom, boom.
I know we're talking about the actual story, but I mean, like, but the animation is so,
Yeah.
you can't, like, there's no way you can animate like this with a computer. You have to draw every frame. It's so beautifully organic.
Yeah.
And it's just,
And it's, what a great story.
yeah, I know that both characters are voiced, but it kind of also reminds me of how much you can do just with expression. Again, you know, there's so much that they communicate without dialogue, and frankly, the picture on the screen being prime example of that. So it's one of the best moments.
Yeah, because the Italian chef is singing to them. I mean,
Yeah,
it's purely whimsical, right? This is the innocence of romance, is what this is. There's no sex in this at all. It is purely about love, right? And two people from different walks of life that can come together, be in love, and go on and have a happy life. It was a good story.
When this movie came out, you know, there was a lot of the romantic comedies, right, of the time. You know, It Happened One Night, you know, and stuff like that. So I think that's also what it was kind of emulating, was the His Girl Friday kind of movies. You know what I mean? Like you have the upper class woman meets the lower class guy, and of course they don't hit it off at first, but then eventually they do, kind of thing. But this was Disney's answer to that, right?
Right. It was the Disney version of that.
Yes.
That melodrama.
Yeah.
Well done. And you're right. This is one of the best scenes when they're out there singing and this stuff, spaghetti. Yeah, just great.
Good pick, CC. Yeah, that's the other thing, is a lot of these on these lists of everybody's, I gotta say, like they're ones that would have made my list. So it made my list both easy and hard at the same time. So it was like, okay, I just picked the ones that nobody else picked for the most part, I think. I think most of my list is ones that nobody else picked.
I almost had one of your upcoming ones on there for me.
That's what I mean. Like that's what was, you know, there's so many choices. Like I think CC was saying, or Price was saying earlier. Yeah. Or was it Scribe? I think whoever it was. But anyway, Lady and the Tramp. Classic. And yes, as Six says, spay and neuter your pets. So movies like this aren't a problem. So I've got to correct you. There's a little bit of sex in this. We know those puppies came from somewhere at the end.
Oh,
hey now, hey. They came from the, the puppy stork. That's where that stuff came from.
The lady is such a tramp.
Oh God, yeah. All right.
Anyway, we've got 70s who also likes porno on. Well, everybody's got to watch a little porno on Valentine's.
That's right.
Hey.
You can tell everybody my first list was all pornos.
It was like Debbie Does Dallas, Debbie Does Detroit, Debbie.
Well, you know,
Emmanuel.
The fascinating thing is we all have
Master
this,
1, 2, and 3.
Behind the
we
green
all
door.
picked the same porno, so that tells you something.
That's right.
Well, it was going to be a short
is.
show, so we're just like, fuck it. We might as well pick real movies.
That 70s sheep fan is very popular.
Go.
Hey now.
Well, joke. All right, moving on. We've got my number 4. Oh, my love.
Yep.
I mean, how can you not pick this movie? I mean,
Whoopee.
I know it's not a great movie all around, but it's a good
I
movie
almost
to
did.
watch.
Yeah.
If you're with the right somebody and you want to get in the right mood, it's one of those movies.
The Naked
usually
Gun did
gets
it
the-
better.
If there was a
Yeah.
The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
One of them.
I
can't
am kind
remember
of
which
chilling
one.
for Paramount so far tonight, anyway. Yeah.
If I had a top 10, it would be on it. I mean, I don't dislike the movie, especially.
what's
with-
funny?
Sorry, go on.
No. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Price.
Oh, I was just saying that I think Patrick Swayze really rescues this movie. But go on.
Well, what's funny about The Naked Gun, I think it's the same directors, ain't it?
Yeah,
The
I
Zucker
think it's all-
brothers.
yeah, they're
Because one of the
all-
Zucker brothers
Jim
directed
Abrams,
this.
yeah.
True.
Or Pat Proft,
David
one of
Zucker
them.
did. Yeah.
Zucker.
Or Jerry did this one. Yeah. Jerry did this one. Which is weird because this is one of the Zucker brothers made this movie, guys. Believe it or not. Those Zucker brothers.
Yep.
And it happened to be one of the most romantic films ever made. And it has Whoopi Goldberg's Oscar-winning performance in it.
Mhm.
Demi Moore doesn't play a slut.
That was the big thing about this. There was a lot of films around romance where they were hookers.
Yeah, like Pretty
my
Woman.
son, this was
and
totally
shit like
different.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was totally different.
Well, and Demi Moore just generally played the wild girl in the bunch, like with St. Elmo's Fire
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, she was usually
all
just
those things,
that
yeah.
wild girl, and this was her playing kind of more of the,
Yeah.
But this,
Shoes.
just the romance between the two of them, the idea that a love so strong that it could, live through death, or however you want to put it,
Transcend death.
transcend death. Thank you. It's a great little love story. It works almost on like this fairy tale level. I mean, again, is it a brilliant film? Is it a amazing film? No, but it's a really sweet story. It's the kind of movie that you watch and you're like, yeah, this is a kind of movie you can't believe this isn't like the third remake of it, right? Like this is,
Hmm.
it has that old kind of romance feel to it, like, you know, that like at some point, like, you know, they should have made this back in the 30s or 40s or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. But it just was a brilliant, well done film, and it got a lot of attention. I think it was the biggest film in 1990, if I'm not mistaken, right in front of I think Pretty Woman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But either way, I
It's at
think one of
it's
those
at a
they had
time
to
that you
flip-flop those two.
sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was saying it's at a time that you could still take kind of a small movie and wow audiences even with a simple concept. Just like you said, there's nothing outrageous, even with the effects. It's not the best special effects I've ever seen. It's really simple, the movie, but sometimes you just have a simple movie with a small cast, and it still works somehow.
Yeah, the concept's very concise, I guess is the word.
Well, it's
Yeah,
the story and the actors. That's what comes together to make a film, right? The
Yes.
story, the actors, the lighting, also come together. You don't need all these great special effects. I'm there to help imagine those things from there. And the one thing about these kind of romance films, kind of like comedy films, we're not all going to be going for the blockbuster comedies, things like that. And we all have stuff that we like. Bowfinger is one of my favorite comedies.
love that movie.
Yeah, but some of my favorite comedies nobody's ever heard of. Party Animal, Breaking and Breaking 2 are both comedies. And they're just like romance. You don't know where you are in your life when you see these films, how it's going to affect you and how it's going to have meaning for you. Like Spaceballs to me is a love story. It's hilarious, but it is about boy meets girl. Right? And yeah, this is the same thing. And Whoopi Goldberg deserved the Oscar. Not so much now, but she deserves it then.
She makes me laugh. So she's so funny in the fucking movie too. That's the best part.
Oh yeah. Back when people don't know, Whoopi Goldberg was really funny.
Yes.
And
Jumping Jack Flash days.
This was this was her at her peak, right?
Nuns on the Run. Oh.
Or you mean
Sister
Nuns on the
Act.
Run, but
Sister Act. Sister Act.
Yeah, Nuns on the Run. I was like, wait a second.
Different movie, but also funny.
Eric Idle's in this? What?
Exactly. Oh yeah.
No, but yeah, the first one is great. And you're right. Like this is her at a peak. She earned the Oscar. I was happy to see. And this is what I also remind people, like when they're like, oh, black people. No, yes, they have in the past, not as much as they should, maybe, but I mean, Whoopi is a glowing example of sometimes the right choice is made. Right.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
she was definitely the underdog in this, but deserved it.
Yes.
She
was the
deserved
comic
the Oscar.
relief. She's
I
the
know.
comic relief in the film, and yet she's what holds the glue that holds the movie. If you don't
Mhm.
have her, that's the whole point of the movie. Like you
No,
said,
if you don't have these three in that part, these exact three people, movie doesn't work.
and who'd have
I-
thought the chemistry between Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg would have been
Would
so
be what it
fucking
is.
good?
Right.
Go ahead,
Right.
Bryce.
No, totally. It's unexpected, and I think that Whoopi was kind of a lot of times the cynical remarks. It's almost like what the audience is thinking. Like he's saying all this nonsense, and she's just a regular person looking at this and thinking how dumb it sounds. And there's just something so simple, and like you said, the chemistry with Swayze is just really good.
I love the bit where he's like, you got to tell her that she's this and that and the other. And he's just going off, and he's like, you tell her all that, you're gonna figure out. I'll do it my own way. You in danger, girl.
I'd like to know how much of that was ad libbed.
Honestly, probably a lot of it, knowing her.
Probably
'Cause
almost
she
all
was
of
the female Eddie Murphy at that time. That's what people don't remember, right? Like, I mean, I hate seeing what she's become now because she was the edgy.
I mean, she did
female
a show with
comedian.
Ted Danson, who she was dating at the time, and she put him in blackface for them some comedy dinner.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that's one of the first times they got canceled. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first cancellations that came out of there, and we're like,
she had
Whoopi's
to
with
come out
Ted
and defend
Danson.
him. Yeah,
And it just, and yeah, she was talented, very, very talented.
then she ate that talent.
Unlike Mark
Ooh.
Ruffalo, who's never been talented.
Never been
Ooh.
talented.
Yeah.
Mark Rufflefellers.
Mhm.
All right, let's see what you guys are saying out in the chat. We got 6 sending in another. I bet you it's a pooper sticker. Let me look here. It is. No, it's a little devil. Ooh, she's being a little devil.
Oh,
All right. And then we got Mars Monkey Max who sends in a wow guy. Wow.
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 And then 6 is also being a little angel, evidently. At the same time, go figure. Don't know how that works out, but hey.
Yeah. Well,
Then Mars Monkey Max also gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships. I've been bugging Andre. We do need to do a member stream, hopefully this week. I hope to be doing one with you guys, all the members out there. Jason Webster, a great supporter of the channel. Thank you for being here. Sends an Australian $10 dues. Says my favorite romance movies, His Girl Friday. Let Me Eat Your Pancreas. Oh,
Jesus.
that took a left turn. Always, also a South Korean film. Crazy Rich Asians, An Affair to Remember, and Casablanca.
Oh,
now in
those
full
are-
color with a happier ending.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't die. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler
It's-
alerts for a 100-year-old film. Yeah.
No, I love that joke though in Gremlins 2 because they're, Trump or not Trump. Clamp was supposed to be kind of a combination of Trump and Ted Turner. So if you listen in the background tonight on the Clamp Cable Network, Casablanca now in full color with a happier ending. It's making fun of Ted Turner colorizing all those movies.
Oh man, that was so fun. There was so much uproar over that.
Yeah, there
What a
was.
great pick, Tom.
Citizen
I think
Kane
we
was the
all
one that
bound
came to us to a halt because Orson Welles supposedly said, "Keep your goddamn crayons off my movie."
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on back to the top of the list. Tox has also got another porn film.
Yes,
on the
that's
list.
another. That's my. Yeah, that's Max the Ass Master 1, 2, and 3.
Whoa.
Yeah. What?
Oh,
Sorry.
Mars! I forgot to give Mars a pup. Oh, he wants a puppy. I can do that. Let's see here. Let's do. Oh, we haven't done Oscar winner in a while. Let's do Oscar winning puppy. And I would name him Oscar. Look at that performance. Like he gives it his all, and he is so happy.
That is a good puppy.
Very good puppy. He gets a treat. All right, moving on. We've got Scribe Light with 84 Charing Cross Road. Now this got a very young looking Anthony Hopkins in it. I'm not familiar with this. You guys are picking a lot of wackadoo ones tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's obscure. This is 1987. And I picked it because, again, it's something else that sort of like Harold and Maude just kind of stuck with me over the years. I don't want to give too much away, but I have to at least give a little bit about it. So it's Anthony Hopkins and Bancroft. And it's a romance that begins completely mundanely, and it's all
I didn't even recognize that until you said that was Anne Bancroft. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all through correspondence. A lady is writing a like rare bookstore or something about something, and this takes place, I think, in the early 1900s, thereabouts, or the maybe early 1930s. I'm forgetting, but either way, it's just a series of. I mean, you get to learn about each character in their life on either end of the deal, but their relationship develops over correspondence. It starts out very business-like. I'm looking for this. Can you help me with this? And it goes back and forth, and over time, it evolves just through letters. And I don't want to give too much away because it's very good. It's worth watching. I actually ended up watching this. I think it showed up on PBS one time or something. And I used to watch Mystery on PBS with my mother because that's when the Sherlock Holmes show would come up with Jeremy Brent, which is one of my best Sherlock Holmes in the world as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah, and I forget exactly what the circumstances were, but I ended up watching this with my mother on a I think it was PBS. And it's so I don't know how to put it. It's so authentic. It's sort of like Harold and Maude. You have this very authentic relationship that builds up, and the characters, as far as I remember, it's been a while, are so well established in their individual lives that we're presented with, and then over the course of this relationship that starts out completely mundane, business-like, and then becomes sort of more intimate, and then eventually flourishes into something else. It's just a really nice, lovely movie. And like we were talking about earlier, it's a story that doesn't require physical intimacy to sell to you an emotional bond between two people. And so I can understand why no one else has ever heard of this before, because it's not exactly your top of the pops.
Sounds like Six did in the chat. She said she liked
I know. Yeah, I know this film.
Yeah, no, it's a great film, and if you're looking for a romance,
She's in what, Boston?
She's in the States. I think Boston or maybe New York, maybe. But either way,
Might
but
be
he's
New York.
but he's over in London, and so they have this international.
Is she trying to seduce him?
Mrs. Robinson is not trying to seduce him.
No, she's actually not trying to seduce him. It's very
Took him a minute, but Tox
very
saved him.
organic.
Yeah,
very organic. Yeah, I know. It's like I forgot about Anne Bancroft. Yeah,
And I guess they were saying in the chat, and it makes sense that Mel Brooks produced it.
This one.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Who, of
So,
course, was
yeah.
famously married to Anne Bancroft for what, like 60 years till she passed, something like that.
Till she passed
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, but if you want to see Anthony Hopkins before the Hannibal Lecter days and see his acting chops before he was
So he didn't eat her liver with some fava beans in a nice.
no, he in fact did not. He's a relatively
That was a
boring
post
individual.
post credit scene.
Oh yeah, the post credits.
Yeah, I forgot about that scribe post credit.
Yeah.
I had it for dinner one night.
It sets up the 84 Charing Cross universe. Yeah,
It was a
It
lovely
does.
meal.
What's a
Only-
multiverse?
If only she'd
multiverse.
known she was writing to the Elephant Man.
If
you see,
only.
each of the other 83 Charing Cross roads are a different story. So
I said, "What a
Right.
lovely breast."
It's kind of like Cloverfield Lane. You know, it's
there
just-
you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, get into it. But this is another it's a romance story about becoming uncomfortable. So both of these characters are comfortable in their life.
Yep.
They're satisfied with their life. And then through this
I
correspondence,
know he wasn't the
they
Elephant Man.
become uncomfortable with where they are.
You're challenged. Yeah, by
Yeah,
each
they're
other.
definitely challenged with that.
Yeah.
It's a comfort challenge.
Yeah, just like with
Comfort
Harold and
challenge.
Maude, you have two people
Yeah.
who are basically set in their ways and everything, but at opposite ends of the sort of philosophical
Right.
spectrum, and then they collide, and then they learn. You see them develop and learn something from each other, and have a connection that's beyond just something physical or lust filled or something. Yeah, that's part of the reason I love it.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that Anthony Hopkins isn't a murderer and a cannibal.
Yeah, well,
He might
I mean, you just look at him there. He looks like he's going to eat me now.
he
Did you ever
does look
see-
hungry.
just as an aside, there's a video out there. Anthony Hopkins wrote a waltz. Like
Yeah, he's
he's
a
actually
composer.
like he's a composer and everything, and they end up doing a full on performance live for him at least of his own waltz. I think as a sort of a surprise
seen
kind of
that,
deal or something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 10 or 11 minute sort of shortened version of it out there on YouTube you can watch, and just the absolute joy on his face to see his work come to life like that, and just as well as it came out. Anyway, sorry, just an aside, as we're being all
I
romantic.
have to
here.
see that just so I don't think of him as a murderer from now on, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway.
can we stop listening to Scribe like gush over a movie? Gee whiz.
I apologize.
He was saying that just because he was going off on it.
I
I did too because I like this film too. And you should go see
Alright.
it.
Now, Price of Reason's talking my speed. We got Coming to America, a fairy tale romance movie starring Eddie Murphy.
And somebody whose
Did we
face I
do?
totally obscured.
You do Princess Bride?
It's
Can't remember
Lisa
doing Princess Bride.
behind the text.
Did
But
we see-
yeah,
how
Dougal.
did Princess Bride pop up already?
How did that pop up?
Oh, shite.
uh,
It should be X's.
You know what? This is your first snafu tonight.
It is. Sorry.
at least people don't think it was Debbie Does Dallas. So now they know.
No.
it
Yeah,
was
well,
legitimate.
spoilers, guys.
Yeah. Princess
We're going
Bride
to be
is
talking
on the
about
list.
Princess Bride coming
Yeah.
up here. So yeah, let's go to Coming to America first, Price. Go ahead.
Not yet.
So, I mean, it's a comedy and people remember him coming to America and it's funny, but I think really the whole movie is kind of, it at its core, it is him trying to find a bride, and everything that he does here is to try to impress her and for her to like him for who he is. And even with all the comedy, I do feel that that is what drives the story forward, and it does give the story heart. I mean, with all of the gags and funny bits and everything that you expect from Eddie Murphy during that time, I still think that they're at its core. The movie does have this element that really gives it some heart.
It's an R-rated Disney movie.
and
No, I'm
it's
serious.
funny. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
serious. Like it is, and then even like John Landis will flat out tell you it's like a romance, but it's a fantasy, right? Like it's a story about a prince who comes to America to find his princess, right? Like it's that typical kind of Disney-esque kind of tale, but It's got a little tongue-in-cheek Eddie Murphy humor in it.
Good
basically.
morning.
Yeah.
It works.
You.
Fuck you too. The royal penis is clean, sire. Hmm?
Look at this. People just throw their trash out on the streets.
Oh yeah, and you Arsenio Hall, very good in this film. Yeah,
True.
but it is a wonderful little romance.
I love
She
when
schools him on a
Arsenio
lot of
fixes
things.
up the place. Yeah. it's
Oh
all
yeah,
good.
right. And she schools him on a lot of stuff. And I want to think that Zamunda is a better place because she's his wife. She just doesn't need him. Oh, and which one of the Wayans played? Oh no, it was the guy that was in
Beverly Hills Cop with the bananas. That's one of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, one of the Wayans brothers. No. So this one was the guy that was eventually in ER.
Oh yeah, the bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy, and he had the Jerry curl hair and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Eric
Travis. what's the
LaSalle.
other
Eric
name?
LaSalle, maybe that's
Eric
what it's called.
LaSalle. That's it. Eric LaSalle. Yeah, he was good.
Trying
in
to
this
think of
too.
his
What a
name in
great
the
film.
movie.
Soul Glow.
Soul
It's
Glow.
your soul glow, baby. Yeah, Eric LaSalle. Yeah.
It's good. What a great film. It's one of the few films I watched a second time.
I've
Just
watched
avoid
it
the
many
sequel.
times. Many times I watched it.
Yes, many, many times. Six wants to know which is your real voice, the one you're using now or the ones in your videos when you're all like
I mean,
Hello, I'm Price of Reason.
I think it's pretty easy to tell which is which. The
I
one
think
that-
she's just fucking with you.
Well, which does she like better?
Oh, good answer. Good
There we go.
answer. There you go. Yes. Yes, Coming to America, a great romance film about a movie where a guy goes to find his bride, basically, So there you go. Finds love in America. Great, great movie. Almost all black cast considering, and nobody brought it up until way later.
Yeah, it was just funny. Kind of like The Golden Child. It was just kind of funny.
Just gonna wipe that on your jacket there.
Back then, if you had talented people doing something good, then people just went to see it, and then nobody was whining about weird
Nobody
stuff.
cared. I mean, Bowfinger, one of the greatest scenes in Bowfinger. Let's go get ourselves a crew. And they head down to the southern border. And as people are running, there's guns firing off everywhere. Get in, get in, get in. And then those guys end up being like winning an award or something for filmmaking. It's a mini American dream inside of a comedy film about Chubby Rain. Yeah. Anyways,
All right. So let's keep going here. CC's number 3 is 10 Things I Hate About You. This is, of course, starring Heath Ledger and that other chick who's in all the Bourne movies. I can't remember her name now.
Carrie Styles.
Yeah, that's it. Something Styles, yeah. In the dance movie.
Or something style. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, she was in that dance movie.
Where did she go? She like just disappeared outside of the Bourne movies, it feels like.
Well,
I
she
don't know.
died in the last one.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, like in general, like Julia Stiles, that's her name, yeah.
Julia Stiles.
Like she just quit acting. Otherwise, like it's like, did people stop hiring her or something? Like, what's the deal?
Well, I'll find
Unless
out
I'm
here.
missing her. Maybe she's in more movies than I realize. I don't know.
She was kind of overrated to begin with, but she had a moment, and then she just held on to those Bourne movies. As long as they invited her back, they still kept her. I think she was in a few
Oh.
Bourne movies, even the later ones.
She was
Yeah, the
in
first 4.
Orphan, The First Kill 2 years ago, and then now she's done TV series voice acting. It seems like since then, something called The Lake, and then Dragons: The Nine Realms, which had
Hey.
23 episodes apparently.
You know what? That pays bills. It may not be
Yeah.
something that you and I watch, but at the end of the day, when they're looking at resumes for a show like that, they say, "Well, it's Julia Stiles. She was in a bunch of movies. Maybe we'll put her here."
All right. Well, anyway,
She was in Wicked.
You picked this. I actually don't hate this movie. I liked it. It's a kind of a fun romantic comedy. It's a
It's the first time I saw
modern day
him.
retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my teenage romance movie growing up. This was the one I watched. I mean, I'm not nothing against 16 Candles. I watched that one too, but this is the one I kept watching. I watched the shit out of it, and I watched it last night again too, and it's every bit as good as I remember it. It's still an awesome movie. Now, it may help that like my teenage crush growing up was Larissa Olenek all the way, who also really kind of hasn't been in a lot of big movies since.
Right.
But there you go. It's just, I mean, it's got a Heath Ledger, right? I mean, it's like
That
Heath Ledger's
movie's
just
over
awesome.
a quarter century old.
What, 10 things?
I hate. 10 things.
Yeah. Oh, and everyone in it still looks good.
Well, except Heath
you know.
Ledger.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's a little emaciated.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's all right. What I like about this film is it was one of the main films they picked from for one of my favorite comedies, Not Another Teen Movie. They picked from this, and the dad that was the pool guy and all that stuff. That's how they got Randy Quaid into the film from that. So yeah, also a romance movie with Chris Evans.
No, it holds up. Larry Miller's great. It definitely has a bit of that late 90s vibe, but when I was rewatching it yesterday, I was like, yeah, I'm getting that kind of like that's of the period of the time where it's like American Pie a little bit. But it definitely holds up. I could watch it again tonight, and I would enjoy it just the same. So it's lost nothing for me. And the scene, obviously, where the photo's taken from is pretty great. Just watching Heath Ledger just dance around the stands, avoiding the mall security cop.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
enjoyed it.
film. It's a good modern retelling of Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
And yeah, good film.
Decent cast. It was surprising because I didn't think I was gonna like it. And I didn't see it in the theaters, obviously, but I caught it. I think on No, it wasn't on TV because it had to be earlier than that. Because I know.
I mean,
I
it
don't
was
think would've been
always on TV.
Yeah, but no, I saw it. I think it was on video. I think it was at my buddy's house, and his sister and her friends were watching it or something like that. And we came in and we were like just kind of goofing on him a bit, and then we ended up watching like the rest of the movie because it was kind of funny. I can't remember what scene it was that sold us on the movie, but it kind of reminds me of Clueless because my cousin and I went to see Clueless as a joke, and we ended up
And
liking
it wasn't
it.
bad. It was you know what? They had fun with movies. Dan, they're not trying to shove a message down your throat.
It really shows in this movie that everyone was having a good time.
Oh
But
yeah.
I remember the part in Clueless where we stuck around. This one I don't remember what made me and my buddy stick around and watch it, but like, yeah, Clueless. It was the scene where she goes, "I'm sorry, but my doctor says I can't have large balls flying at my face or whatever."
Yeah,
The
you're
other
like,
girl
"That's
goes, "There
good."
goes your dating life," or whatever. At that point, we were sold on the movie. We're like, "All right, now we're in on this shit because this is funny." Because at first we thought it was gonna be stupid, but yeah.
Well, there was
So
still
we
a
usually would
stupid
just
to it,
hop
but it was-
around, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah. But all right, let's keep moving. Unless CC you have more to say on it. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I guess Andrew Keegan.
Oh yeah,
also
he's in it.
pretty
too.
awesome.
Indeed, great cast. All right. 70s rock fan picking one of my favorite films, and the reason I didn't put it on my list, one of the ultimate romances of all times. 'Twas Beauty that killed the beast.
Whatever happened to Fairy?
That's
Yeah,
so
I just impossible not to put this on here. I mean, yet another doomed romance as well. Hopefully, for Fairay's sake, unconsummated. I mean,
That's what happened to Fay Ray. She got blown across the Atlantic, buddy.
This is about a giant ape who so loves Anne Darrow that he climbs the largest erection in New York City for her. It's just the ultimate tragic romance, and he absolutely loves her. He's willing to go to any lengths to protect her or to be with her. Yeah, Beauty Killed the Beast. I mean, it's not much. No, everyone knows the story. I would be surprised if anybody out there had not seen any version of King Kong. I wanted the original. The classic.
What's
It's my
hilarious
second
about
it's my second black and white movie.
what's hilarious about it being considered such a romantic film, because it is not just by you or myself or anybody else on the panel or for that matter. is just, it has one of the worst romance scenes ever in a movie with some of the worst acting, though I love it, of course.
But what
And
is she
that's where
gonna do?
Jack is like, say, I guess I love you. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, hey there, little missy. Let me
think
take you
Faye-
on down to the corral. We'll have ourselves a barbecue.
I think Fay Ray does a pretty good job given
she's great in it, but
she's
like,
fantastic. She does convey an awful lot of poignant emotion and chemistry with the giant fake ape
Hairy hand.
King Dong. But yeah,
what's his face who plays Jack Driscoll, though? I can't remember the actor's
I
name,
can't
but
remember
offhand
either.
it. But he's just, he was one of those. He was like my understanding was he was like the Jai Courtney.
It was
of that
Bruce,
day.
Bruce Cabot.
Bruce Cabot. No, I seriously like the studio kept trying to make him happen as some
Oh.
leading man, and it's like the dude just can't act.
No,
He can't act. He's a horrible actor.
King Kong's got more emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He does.
Well, he ended
King
up playing
Kong's
a
a
lot
better
of-
actor.
He ended up playing a lot of bit parts in westerns.
yeah. I don't think there's much more you can say about this. It's a classic love story.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Absolutely, a 100% a love story. That's at the core of the movie. So, and doomed once again, doomed never to be
Wow.
together.
Well, he sure fell for that broad.
He did.
Oh,
1933, that film
was-
made
yes.
$5.3 million.
It was the most expensive movie ever made at that time,
It
too.
was
Yeah.
plain to see
$700,000.
that He loved it.
Yeah. But yeah,
It was
and the
beautifully
claymation
filmed.
and all the stuff in the stop motion that they did with that, and merging her in there for the time, it was phenomenal special effects that
Oh yeah.
still held up.
Well,
RKO
we-
Radio Pictures. That's a company I miss. RKO.
Yeah. Brilliant movie. If you've never seen it, you should. It's an all-time classic in any genre.
Even the 76 version has a pretty good
I like the
romance in it.
76. It was okay.
It was good.
Even though
The
if
new
you watch
one's
the
whatever.
TV version, it doesn't end so happy, but yeah.
Oh, huh.
Jack leaves her at the end. But yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Moving on.
My number 3 pick is Mannequin. I unapologetically loved this movie growing up. I've seen it 10 billion times. I mean, Kim Cattrall
Yeah.
is hot as hell in this movie. You got Andrew McCarthy, who's hilarious. And I mean, he was at his peak at this point. You got G.W. Bailey as the antagonist, and he's fucking hilarious in it. Which is the reason why he's not in Police Academy 2 or 3, whichever one was shooting at that time.
Mm,
And also Estelle Getty in this too is great.
that's right.
So yeah, no, it's just a cute fairy tale love story comedy romance about a dreamer, a guy who wants to be an artist, a sculptor, and he happens to construct a mannequin that turns out to be possessed with this what is it, like 400th century fucking Egyptian princess or some
Yeah.
shit like that.
Right.
I don't remember the exact century she's from, but yeah, she's like quite a few years out from where she's originally from. Maybe it's a little more than that because maybe she's only like 400 or 500 years out, but can't remember which. But it's been a couple years since I've seen it, but it's still a great movie. It holds up pretty well. I've seen it a few years back. Not the sequel so much. Avoid the sequel, but
Never
And-
oh,
seen
and
it.
then Misach Taylor as Hollywood is one of the greatest gay characters in the pre-woke era ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As Hollywood, oh my god. He's
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
Is he the one that's in the band Sexual Chocolate? Is that
No,
him?
actually, I think that's Eddie Murphy doing
That's
that.
Eddie
If it-
Murphy.
That's Eddie Murphy? Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. No, but Misach went on to be on Designing Women with all the
Yep.
Mhm.
ladies on Designing Women.
Delta
but,
Burke and all that.
And also the theme song to this movie cannot be forgotten.
Oh hell no, no! With
I
the
know.
Starship theme, of course,
Starship.
probably one of the
Yep.
greatest '80s love songs ever. Yeah, great film. The music video is great too from that. The song you're talking about.
Nothing's gonna
Don't
stop
stop
us
us
now.
now.
They were
That's
Jefferson
probably what-
Airplane, then they were Jefferson
Yeah.
Starship, and then they were just
Now they're just
Starship,
Starship.
Starship.
All right.
Yeah.
and they went techno. All right.
They transitioned before transitioning was cool.
I mean,
all
they
bad.
did Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now, and they also did White Rabbit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
And we built this city on rock and roll.
And we
right?
built
That's
the
true, we
city, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember hearing
I like
them. And
Jane.
But I think
Jane's my favorite Jefferson Starship.
Jane.
I think if
Jane's a
it
great
wasn't for
song.
that song, though, I don't know if this movie would have been as popular. But yeah, I'm curious if anybody else
true.
remembers it, enjoys it. But
Oh yeah, yeah, it was a top 10 song, and it definitely drove people to see this movie. But this was back when this movie would come out, and it would be in theaters for 6 months. Right, so you would
Right.
get it here, and then it would go to the second run theater, and then it would go to the third one, and then the dollar theater. It was a Fox theater,
And then the cheapest strip club in Oklahoma.
right?
Yep.
Because the Fox theater was across the street from the
Cheapest
strip club in Tulsa, and yeah, and so you're sitting there.
Oh,
and your
that's the
feet don't
sequel.
move. Yeah, that's the sequel. Yeah, because your feet won't move when you're at the Fox theater, and after you've watched a film, you can't get up because your feet are stuck to the floor. You don't know why.
It's a
You
trap.
just know it is. So. But yeah, you know what, Tom? It's a great pick. Nice job.
Well, and Kim Cattrall was just peak hot. I mean, she went from being in Porky's to Police Academy to this. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, the screaming. Yeah, in Porky's.
Why do they call her? What was it? What was her fucking nickname? Now I just forgot it.
Oh,
Damn it!
God dang it!
Not Hound Dog, but something like that.
Oh,
Shit.
yeah,
Lassie.
okay.
Why do they call her Lassie?
Why do you call her Lassie? Yeah.
She just loves the locker room. Yeah, the smell.
Man, she
of-
was in a ton of stuff. Porky's, Police Academy,
yeah.
Turk 182. Turk 182. There you go.
She was
Oh,
in
man.
Star Trek 6 as well. That's correct.
Big Trouble in Little China. That's right. She was the Vulcan.
Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China is another hot one. She was really
Mhm.
hot. Yeah.
I mean, the whole Sex and the City stuff, I get it. But I mean, she was a pretty good actress.
Yeah. That just solidified her as a sex symbol. I mean, it was like almost like when she did Sex in the City, it was like people almost forgot about her.
Right. That was definitely her later on. Because she
But
did
yeah.
that. Sex in the City, she was doing that in. When did that television stuff happen? That was, 1998. So she was already in her 40s by the time that.
Well, that's kind of
that
the point of the show is
this
these
whole
women
point.
on the, on the other end of 30 or one end of 40 or whatever kind of thing. But yeah, no, great film. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the pick. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. We got a couple of super chats here. We got Accident Seller sending in 50 Norwegian krona from Andre's motherland. Says Alien is such a great love story when you consider Ripley went back for her pussy. What?
That's true. That was the first lesbian love story in sci-fi.
Mr. Blurred Out sends in 5 and says Edward Scissorhands. That's a good pick. That almost made my list.
Mhm.
True Lies, Natural Born Killers. Funny you mentioned that one. We'll talk about that one maybe.
I almost
Legend
put it on my
and
list.
City of Angels. Yeah.
Yeah, Natural Born Killers was one of them.
City of Angels is one of those that I can understand.
It's an interesting choice.
Oh, you want to talk about a doomed one? I mean,
Yeah.
70s and Scribe just could have done an entire list of doomed romances. Oh, it's such a great thing. And
You could
it's-
almost do a show on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I could say Butterfly Effect is a romance that
Oh, jeez.
exactly because
Like
in
the
the
Romeo
end he
and
loves her
Juliet
so much.
show.
And, yeah, but that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Mo Zamboni, I love that name.
Mo Zamboni sending in 2 spots says his mama called him Cassius. I'm gonna call him Cassius. I love that. You ain't never met no Muhammad Ali.
F-U. Who's next?
Or Malcolm X. Not Malcolm X. Jesus.
He ain't
Martin
never
Luther
met
King.
no Malcolm X.
I did too. He punched me in the chest.
You punched him in the chest just reminds me.
You know what's
Yeah.
sad is that almost when he's doing that bit, it almost sounds like he's channeling his brother Charlie.
It does. Good. Charlie Murphy.
It sounds
on
like a
the
story
Chappelle
Charlie would
Show.
have told. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
On the
it's-
Chappelle Show.
He's talking of, and then he
Let me
kicked
tell you
me
about
in
the
the
time I
chest.
met fucking
Prince?
Martin Luther King. I was walking down the street, motherfucker punched me in the chest. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought he was somebody else."
Oh man,
Like I love Charlie. Yeah, you were going to talk about when he met Rick James. He kicked
Rick
him in the
James.
chest.
He punched him in the forehead with the ring. Yeah,
He's jumping on the couch and shit.
and then he drop kicked me.
He just starts screaming, "I'm Rick James, bitch!"
I liked it with Prince. You know, he dunks on us, and then he made us all pancakes.
Which I guess is a true like that part. that whole thing is pretty true story from what I've heard. Like that's a thing. Like Prince actually has a basketball court in his house, and he loves to play basketball.
He's
and
a
he
short
loves to
dude,
make
too.
people pancakes because that's the only thing he knows how to make.
What a dude, man. What a dude. He never moved out of Minnesota.
Nope.
Nope. Stayed there, did all that. Oh, and all the music he wrote for others. But all right.
Anyway,
All right. Romances.
Mo
Sorry.
Zamboni, thank you so much for that. That was hilarious.
I'm still following you on Twitter, Mo Zamboni. I should know that.
Accident Seller sends in another 20 Norwegian and says, what about the woman in red with Kelly LeBrock? Oh, that's
Lady in Red.
Oh, yeah.
That's Gene Wilder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Michael Caine? No.
Michael Caine?
Was that
Michael
Blamed It on
Caine, I
Rio?
think he's in it. Maybe
I
he's
think-
not.
I
I
think
don't
he's in
remember. It's
that.
been a tick since
Lady
I've
in
seen
Red.
it.
I mean, we're thinking about
But,
blame it on Rio.
I'm thinking of Blame It on
Maybe.
Rio. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really remember about the woman in red is I just called
To
to
say-
The song was bigger than the movie,
I
probably.
love you. It was.
Well, during that time, a lot of these,
Hate
you
that
know, the
song.
comedies were created around the song. You know, they had the hot songs and would come out and do it from there. So.
Wait.
That song
Lady
with
in
the
Red
Rangers.
wasn't the song for this movie?
Woman
No, it
in Red.
wasn't.
Krista Berg.
Lady in Red is dancing.
It came out around the same
they
time,
they
but
had two
yeah.
songs. They had
Oh.
The Woman in Red was a song by Stevie Wonder, and there
Yep.
was I Just Called to Say I Love You, and I Just Called to
Oh.
Say I Love You swept the charts, I think, or at least
It was
Yeah.
a number
very
one
big
hit.
that year.
Yeah. Huge
Yeah.
hit. They even had that famous bit on the Cosby Show where they went into to meet Stevie Wonder and they sang the song in the show
Mhm.
Right.
with Bill and the wife, yeah, and the kids. It was a whole big thing. Yeah, that was a huge song when that was out.
And then everyone went to sleep.
Yeah. Because they drank the Kool-Aid. I Cthulhu sends in $5. How you been, buddy? It's a surprise thought you'd have guy lists, but many excellent top fives. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I was like a nut hair away from saying, let's just do bromance movies, but I'm kind of trying to do a counter programming to the Super Bowl. So that was kind of the point.
Well, all of our
Us-
top fives would just be Ted.
Or
I
Step
don't know,
Brothers and Tango
my
and Cash.
Brothers,
number
Tango and
one would be
Cash.
the same as the romance number one.
Yeah.
So,
My
Oh,
Fair
spoiler
Lady.
alert.
Mrs. Flew just went with her best friend to see that. They were doing the 60th anniversary and in theaters. So
That supposedly looks really good because they had a 70 millimeter.
she said it was really nice in seeing that. So that you got a lot of other films coming up. That
Yeah, it's a Blu-ray I want to
see.
get my hands on. Actually, I haven't got my hands on that one yet. Number 5 of his choices though are Curly Sue. Not
Oh,
sure
nice
if that one's a romance. Really? Okay. Jerry Maguire. That one almost made my fucking list. I was between that and another one, but I shouldn't have said that, should I? But
Not sure that was a romance.
anyway, Princess Bride, Sure Thing, and My Fair Lady, as we were just talking about. And then we got some more gifted memberships from Mars Needs Monkey Max. I don't know why I added a needs in there, but we're going to give him a lazy puppy. He's not lazy, though. He's definitely pitching in, unlike this lazy ass puppy who's just roaming around on a Roomba. Got 0 fucks to give.
Love
Thank
that
you for
puppy.
that. Oh, we all do, even though he's lazy. Mo Zamboni sends in another 2 spot and says, "Thank you, Toxic Man Flu. You have good taste, sir." That's
Right.
from Docs.
You tricked me.
I didn't know you could taste things.
Well, it's all kind of got like a mushroom flavor.
I was
to
say
it.
your tongue is like blue.
Yeah. Oh, it is
Stick
what
it
it is.
out. When you stick it out, it's like a weird blue color.
What, oh wait, what? What did you say?
When you stuck
Oh.
your tongue out before, it's like a weird.
No,
blue
no, no.
color.
I'm not doing it. That.
That,
That,
yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That does not
Yeah.
look healthy.
Well, I'm a flu.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just, yeah.
Did you have intimate relations with
Ooh.
Smurfette or something?
With Mork?
Smurfette.
Smurfette.
I don't know. Was it
Oh,
there? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He just said thumbs up, so he just gave it away. His
I'm
hands
good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
are independent.
What? I
so
don't. No, yeah, they're totally. I don't know what's going on.
they don't work with the rest
No,
of us.
I don't.
Is
do
that, is,
crap
that, is,
like
is that your Italian language app doing that with the hands?
Yes,
Uh,
I'm now speaking Italian.
All right.
All right, let's get back to Tox's top of the list. It's top of the top of
I need-
our
I mean,
list.
Marsh's
I knew what I
favorite movie.
meant. One
you
of
knew,
Tox's
you knew this
favorite
would be on
movies.
mine, didn't you? You knew it.
You're such a supremacist.
Dreaming of a white
Christmas. I go see this in theaters during Christmas. And Danny Kaye, Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, Vera Ellen. Just a phenomenal group, singing, dancing. It is a romance movie. Both of them find romance with the others, with each other in the ladies, and wonderful songs, wonderful voices, just a good, wholesome story. And was a Broadway musical first, and then came out and did all that. So I've had it on multiple lists. Yeah, I will continue to have it on multiple lists. If we talk about musicals, if we talk about dance movies, if we talk about movies about Holiday Inns or snow, this will be on that list. So if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to. Yeah, lots of fun. It takes you back to an era of train travel, which my father was a locomotive engineer for a long time, and how important train travel was to people in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s, and all that stuff.
I didn't know that. We'll have to talk offline about that.
About what? My father?
Yeah, family connect.
Mhm.
I have
So
family
my
connections to the railroads.
The railroads. My grandfather was on it. My great uncle, my dad's uncle, was one of the locomotive engineers that took Omar Bradley around in Europe. One of the generals that was in charge of the invasion of Europe, all that stuff. But yeah, goes back to before the turn of the century. And I will send you a link behind the scenes to something that my dad's cousins do.
Sure. I'd love to see that.
They restore steam engines. And not too far from where I live now in Union, Illinois, is a museum where they have steam engines and diesel engines. They do upkeep, and they've got retirees that come in and work on those. And we've been there multiple times, and they run them at least twice a year. So they did before COVID. They're running once a year now. They'll try and work back up twice a year. Railroad, yeah, a lot of fun. If you get a chance, take a train ride.
Great stuff, yeah.
But White Christmas, phenomenal film. And yeah.
Yep. Poster child for white supremacy.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's in
That's what I'm
Vermont, folks. All right. There's not a lot going on. But Danny Kaye is one of my favorites.
In Vermont, there's not much going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But snow and
But
Snow and
plenty
Marxism.
coming off.
Snow and drinks.
Marxism.
Well, I mean, it's going to be this and Christmas Vacation and Scrooge. Those are the top three
Yeah.
of all time. If I'm sitting there watching stuff at Christmas,
but it is,
I will
it
watch
is-
this movie when it's not Christmas.
It is chock full of romance, unlike the movie that came before it that it's loosely based
Yes,
around.
I had you watch Holiday Inn, and totally different movie to this.
Well, and it's just my only issue with that, as I said, was just like, why I would not put up with that guy after so long. Like,
Yeah.
and
The
these two had
Fred Astaire
much
dude is a
better
real dick.
chemistry. Yeah, much better chemistry.
Well, Danny Kaye, if there's a documentary out about Danny Kaye, and if you do get an opportunity, it's a good watch. Danny Kaye is a true American story. Came over, escaped Nazi Germany, all that kind of stuff. Things from there, and all that, everything he went through. Everyone said he's a wonderful guy, helped everybody out. Married to the same lady until the day he died. Oddly enough, in 1987, when I graduated high school. But Danny Kaye is a phenomenal entertainer, on the level of Sammy Davis Jr. for me. Sammy Davis Jr. is someone I wish I could have seen live, because what he could play, Prince could play like 25 instruments.
Right.
That was Sammy Davis Jr. could tap dance, could soft shoe, could sing, could act, and could play 25 instruments. He just amazingly talented and had a Vegas show that was sold out all the time. Danny Kaye's the same way. Him doing Pirates of Penzance and all that kind of stuff. So,
All right. Moving on to let's see here. Scribe Lights number 2. He watched more pornos. Everybody
Oh,
else. But we'll get back around to your number 2 pick here shortly, I imagine.
Yep.
Price of Reason as well.
Oh,
And now you guys can finally talk about The Princess Bride.
Right. Yes. So sorry.
Yay!
Hey.
Porno's love.
Yeah. Price had this at 4. I had it 3. Scribe at 2. And CC. So there were 4 of us that picked. What?
I think that
Go for-
tells you
And
something
this
about
would
the
have
movie.
been on my list had it not been on like all y'all's list already.
As you
Exactly.
will.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
The Princess Bride is a movie. If you meet a girl and she doesn't like this movie, you break
You
up with
move
that
on.
girl and you find somebody else.
You just move on.
I think that's a good
Litmus test,
Barometer.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Robin Wright Penn is angelic in this film, and Carrie Elways, just amazing. At the end where they suck the life out of him and he can't move and he's starting to move, he's so funny yet so serious at the same time. I don't think that they could have picked anyone else in that role.
She
to
was
do
still
that.
Robin Wright here. She wasn't even Robin Wright Penn.
That's right. She hadn't been married yet. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why
true.
she still seems happy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey there was somebody had to do that one.
Andre
Why
the
would she-
Giant.
Why would she be upset? I don't know what you're talking about.
you're not as good as Madonna.
Yeah. Andre the Giant is this, but Mandy.
No more rhymes.
Oh, Mandy.
I mean it. Would you like a peanut?
He's not completely dead. He's almost dead.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, can we just say just a perfect movie all around, but the romance, even with all of the characters and everything that was going on and everything to keep track of, you never lost the through line of the love between these two characters and the fight to stay together, even though they don't share all that much screen time given how much goes on in between, but it's just maintained so solidly that it carries the momentum of the entire film. It's just great. The chemistry's great. The acting's great. The dialogue is amazing. My favorite part when I was a kid is like she's holding the knife up to her chest, and he's like, there's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. It'd be a shame to ruin yours.
Yeah. The Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
I think there's
Princess-
also a love story between Fezzik and Inigo Montaigne.
Romance,
Sorry,
maybe.
Montoya.
yeah.
I mean-
This would be also the top of the list for the bromance film, right?
Yeah.
True.
Mhm.
So Price, yeah, you also had this on your list.
I did. It's a classic
Famously.
movie. It gets everything right. It's a perfect balance, and it manages, like somebody else said here. It's not like the whole movie keeps talking about their love, but somehow it convinces you that he's doing all of this and how the relationship is important to him, and somehow it's at the heart of the movie.
Yeah, Peter Falk.
Oh man, Columbo.
man.
Yeah.
He's mostly dead.
Even Fred Savage is good in this.
Yes.
Yeah, this and The Wizard doesn't get much better.
No.
Have
And-
fun storming the castle.
Oh man. Wow. There's not enough you can say about this film. You just put it on. I've watched this film multiple times. You can come in at any point. You know where you are with this film. And as you say, if you've got a girlfriend and she doesn't like this film, there's something wrong. So, just a great film. Cece, did you say anything about this film, or did we totally?
That's
cut you
what I
off?
said about the film. It's the litmus test.
Yeah,
That's
You
he's
meet
the
a
one who
girl,
kicked that off.
you
kicked it off
watch
from there. I
this
just wanted to
movie
make
with
sure.
her, and if you don't watch the movie with her because she doesn't want to watch it, you find a different girl.
Yeah. Do you
Oh,
have an
it's
appreciation? Oh, sorry.
Being controversial, 6 comes in with Princess Bride sucks.
Only after the wedding.
Can't.
Oh, actually, I've heard she stops
Oh.
after the wedding.
There we go.
I was going to say, as far as the litmus test is concerned, yeah, if you don't have an appreciation for pathos and chivalry and romance, and especially a sense of humor that appreciates this kind of movie, yeah.
Mo Zamboni says, I've been married for 18 years and As You Wish still works. I think Tox would agree with you on that one too, probably. Or he gets hit with beef sticks.
Whoa.
My wife's actually watched
True
the
story.
Super Bowl. So
I can hear her in the background yelling at it.
yeah, she's yelling at me about it. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
is she?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's like,
Something
"I'm gonna
about
come hit
she
you
doesn't
with some
understand the
beef."
overtime rules.
I just heard her say, hey.
Speaking of overtime,
The Chiefs won
fix
in
is
overtime.
in.
So there you go.
The fix
Yeah.
My sister's
is
going to be happy.
in.
She's a Kansas City fan.
All right.
If you knew
well.
the fix was in and you bet on it, overtime got you the bet.
Oh, she's bitching now. Can you hear
Yeah.
her?
No, she's
upset.
excited.
Oh, she's excited. Okay. All right. I knew there was some sort of noise coming out of the other room.
Yeah. My sister's lives in Kansas City. She's a big Kansas City fan. So there was listening.
But yeah, no. Princess Bride, great romance film. My number 2 was Overboard, starring Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. A movie that would probably get you put in prison if you actually did it, but
It's the greatest stalking and kidnap movie of all romance.
Yes.
well, revenge. And then he traffics
Revenge.
her.
Yeah. Right.
Brainwashing, Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It's one of those movies though that should not work. It just shouldn't friggin' work, but it does because you believe these two fall in love, and it's the chemistry that works, right? Like you can tell why these two have been together for so damn long because they love each other. You can tell they truly do love each other, and it shows in this movie. And this was these two at their absolute peak. It's probably Kurt Russell's highest grossing film, I imagine. But
Really?
yeah, no,
That's
I
sad.
think it might be because he's unfortunately had. I mean, he's well known and he's very prolific, but a lot of his movies in the '80s, especially, were like the John Carpenter movies, and none of them performed at the box office. They did well after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Well, video, VHS and videos and things introduced us to a lot of films that the studios just gave up on. So, I mean, Goldie Hawn was a bigger ticket at the time than he was.
Well, that too you had as well, because I think she does get top billing in it.
Yeah, she does, because she was coming off of Private Benjamin and
Protocol and
all that stuff.
What's the football one?
Wildcats.
Yeah.
Wildcats, yeah.
Football.
She first time I ever saw her, it was Laughing.
Mm-hmm. Saga to me.
Yeah. Well, that's
I'll
just
buy
it.
that
I
for
mean,
$1.
she had her and him both their careers kicked off around the same time, I guess. And I mean, he was
was
kind
the
of like
Disney
the boy
route.
next door, and she was America's kind of sweetheart, yet sex pot at the same time, kind of sorts. But that was kind of a lot of what her movies were, right? Her characters were always kind of painted in that light, but then it's her trying to prove to not just the audience but herself that she's not this airheaded, bimbo,
Private
rich girl
Benjamin.
brat, especially with Private Benjamin in this film, right?
Yeah.
What did she say?
She goes, "Your sister's saying there's fireworks going all over the city."
Oh, okay. I thought it was about us. Never mind.
No.
Not important. All right. But
Taylor
yeah, no.
Swift was in the Super Bowl, so she's
As I said, I tried to make my list more around the stuff that you guys didn't pick already that I probably would have put on my list. But I was kind of surprised to see this one didn't make the list of anybody else's. But yeah. And of course, avoid the remake at all costs, just like I did.
I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, yeah. There's a
There's a
remake.
reason.
Which is weird because this movie feels almost like, going off of like Ghost, like I said before, and even Mannequin to an extent, like a movie that Hollywood would have made in the 30s or 40s in the golden age, right? And this is just that iteration of it we're getting now. It just has that natural old Hollywood kind of feel to it.
Today, you know why it's not made? Because there's something that people would be whining about it. Because he kind of takes her and fools her that she's his wife.
Well, that's my understanding is in the remake, they reverse the roles. See, it's okay if you do that.
If it's a man, then I got it. So yeah, in this format, the way this movie is, there'd be people picketing and crying with blue hair. So you couldn't make it exactly the same way.
The only thing I can imagine is that people must like this movie enough that they haven't picked on it yet. Because you're right, Price. Like this is a movie that you would think have a target on it. for the Me Too generation, right?
You know what's going to happen soon? There's going to be like a diverse woman at the beginning lecturing before you watch the movie.
No.
Like with
Just so you know, kids, kidnapping is bad.
And brainwashing. And
Yeah.
But it's okay because it's Kurt Russell. You know, if anybody was going to brainwash me, it would be him.
You know, he was a minor league baseball player in the Angels system and was working his way up when he was turning a double play and somebody came into him and tore his rotator cuff. That pretty much ended it. And then he went back to acting. So we wouldn't have any of the stuff if he kept up going through the ranks and made the big show. So
no, it's just a great romantic comedy. But we're running low on time here, so we're going to keep moving along. Number 2, another one that was going to be on my list. If I could have had room for it.
Good
Jackie
choice.
fucking Brown. I mean, Tarantino's greatest romance movie besides maybe one or two other ones we'll talk about here. But yes, I agree. Go ahead, bro.
Well, it's I'm not saying it's the best. It's my favorite Tarantino, Jackie Brown. Always has been. And a large part of that is due to the romance in the movie. And I think this movie has got a lot of things in it, but I think the romance is actually the central part of it. And again, it's not a young couple. It's not two hot young kids, which you would get from true romance, let's say. It's two kind of world-weary older people trying to navigate this very dangerous and difficult world that they are caught up in. And it's just such a beautifully played, beautifully nuanced romance between them. There's no hot and heavy, leaping into bed within 2 minutes. There's a long, subtle elegance to it. And you can feel the chemistry between these two actors. It's just phenomenal. Very, very beautiful. Again, I wouldn't say necessarily they don't end up together. It's ambiguous at the end, but they're certainly not walking off into the sunset together per se. I wouldn't say it was
who hurt you, 70s. Tell us who hurt you.
Do you want to? We could go on for some time there, but anyway,
revived both of their careers too.
Yeah, it did. It's very intimate, very genuine affection, and it's beautifully done. Unlike a lot of Tarantino, is you wouldn't necessarily say nuance and elegance is a Tarantino trait, but this is so beautifully done that it belies the fact it's. And don't get me wrong, I love Tarantino. It belies the fact it's a Tarantino movie. It's a beautifully slow and understated romance. And
yeah, but he didn't write this one, did he?
No, it's Elmore Leonard, but but he still allowed it to be played out like that.
Yeah,
and directed it like that, and no doubt encouraged the performers to do that. And it's just beautiful. The two of them together are absolutely beautiful, and very romantic. Love it.
There you go. I love it too, but I'm not going to dwell on it because yes, we do need to keep moving. Back to the top of the list. We got number 1 for Tox, Gone with the Wind.
Frankly, Tom, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, and I figured this would show up on somebody's list.
Yeah, this is probably, it's in the mention for top film of all time. And the character of Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara is a romance of all time. You're talking about the wild romantic times in America, and it's Americana in the South, and reflected a time there. And the film itself had a lot of firsts and things in it, and came during a very important time. So, this love story itself, he's a rogue. She's, it's basically Tammy the Shrew, only except they don't end up together. So, what a great film.
Another doomed romance. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, it wasn't for his lack of trying. It showed you what held them together was their daughter. And as soon as the daughter, and I'm not spoiling this film. This film came out almost 100 years ago, folks.
Right.
And the death of the daughter, and there was nothing left to keep him there.
He should have never gotten her that horse.
Yeah.
Oh,
never
and
should.
I hated this movie, but I cheered when he locked out that fucking door. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there just comes to
Right.
a point if you're going to
She's
do this.
annoying, Scarlett. I mean, she's
But
an
it
annoying
also
person.
means that she can stand on her own 2 feet then. So it's a female empowerment thing. The fact
Right.
that he walks away.
Well, she was in love with the land
Mm-hmm.
She'll never be hungry again.
and all of that stuff. Right. And she had been poor. And she was never going back to that. She didn't need anyone. She was never going to be reliant on anyone else. And he needed somebody to
Mm-hmm.
rely on him. And that was his daughter. His daughter relied on him. And then when she died, that was it. It's a tragic story. There's multiple romances in here in this movie. So I know we're short of time.
Yeah, and
This
I
is
take
a
it
great
back. I
film,
don't
everybody
hate
should.
it. That's a little harsh, but it's just I feel it's
not a
very,
film for everybody. No,
a
it's
very
not.
drawn out film. Yeah, I still respect it for what it is, though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a major event, and
yeah.
she didn't write a second book. And she was a very reserved person who did not want to be. It took a lot of pressure for her to have this become a movie.
I've
Well-
heard that they were thinking of doing a remake starring Culture Casino.
On Blowing with the Wind.
Boo.
I like all
Blowing
the
with the
behind
weave?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying I like all the behind the scenes of this movie and how important it is within the context of Hollywood, and how it was still the days when the producer was the guy that really made the movie. And I think that David O. Selznick had was it Victor Hugo? I don't know. Was supposed to be
It
the
was
director.
Selznick. Yeah, Selznick.
But Selznick is the one that de facto.
He produced
back
it,
in the
right.
day, producer was different than today. Selznick was basically saw himself as the director de facto.
And you also had the guy who came over from Wizard of Oz and directed it too.
Right. I thought his name was Victor Hugo, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Victor
I
Fleming.
think you're right.
Victor
I mean, you
Fleming. I don't know. Hugo, I got mixed up. Maybe Fleming, but
Yeah, he was
in
the
any
director,
case-
but Selznick was the force
Producer,
behind the movie.
yeah.
right. And I think that he kicked him off the movie at some point. I think in Gone with the Wind at some point, like he annoyed him and he just booted him out, and his
Booted him
name
off.
was still
It's
there.
either that or I thought why Fleming came in. You could be right. I can't remember which one. Which
I
way
thought it was
goes,
the
but yeah.
opposite. I thought that Fleming annoyed him, and he's like, "You don't know how to do this movie. You go away." But he still
Could
kept
be
the title
correct.
of director, even though he kicked him off. I could be wrong. It's either what you said or what I said. One of the two.
Because for some reason, and this is just my memory of it.
You
is
are
he
you are
did-
correct. The director was George Cukor. He kicked him off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to say because he had just finished
Victor
Wizard of
Fleming.
Oz,
Yes,
and they moved
brought
him
on
from
to finish
Wizard
it.
of Oz over to this. Yep.
Yep.
And this is the most
I had to
expensive
look it
movie
up.
ever made at that time. Yep.
Well, we were
Right.
both right and wrong. Meaning, you were
Yes,
right
yeah.
actually. I was wrong actually, and you were right. But I wasn't generally wrong in the fact that he saw himself as the
Yeah.
the creative vision, and the
Oh, yeah.
director was just a guy that was supposed to do what he tells him to.
Yeah. Well, they spent
Well, that's
$4
what
million
Fleming
on
did,
this
yeah.
film in 1939, and it has grossed over 400 million.
Well, the way they figure it by ticket sales, this is the most
This
successful
is
film of all time.
successful film of all time, and
Yeah.
that really you stop at that point. I understand Star Wars and some of the other stuff things come from there. This is by far the biggest phenomenon to ever hit film.
And it
And
showed
it
over
swept
2
America.
nights in some places originally. I don't know if you guys
Right.
knew
It,
that.
and they did one and the other. And this was back when they would have an intermission, and it was more of a theater experience, right? And stuff from there. But Clark Gable is just cool.
Yeah.
He is comfortable in his own skin. Clark Gable is the kind of man that I wish I was more like. So
I think Scribe's got to be leaving us, which I believe he's next on
he's
the
next.
list.
Let's get him up and get out of there.
I wish I had his
Somewhere in
mustache.
time.
Yeah, I'll make this quick. I got to split. Yeah, this is when I used to work at a video store back in high school, and somebody'd come in asking like, "Okay, what's a good romance movie or something?" This is my first go to. Christopher Reeve at his absolute most gallant. Jane Seymour, absolutely radiant. It is a sappy tearjerker. The premise is really goofy, but that's just, I mean, the premise is just kind of the MacGuffin to get things moving. But the relationship, the acting, the chemistry between the two of them, and again to see Superman, not Superman, to be sort of like, I mean, vulnerable in a way that sort of my only image of Christopher Reeve at the time prior to seeing this was Superman, like just the Superman. He just invincible and everything else. And you see him in this, and he's seeing the range of Christopher Reeve's abilities. He was such a absolute class act. And yeah, if you ever want to have like the best tearjerker romantic, a little bit sappy in places, but it works for what it is. But yeah, definitely the top romantic movie in my personal gallery, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, Mo Zamboni. Christopher Reeve stared at a penny and died. It's true. If you don't understand why that's the case, you just have to watch the movie. You just have to watch the movie. Yes, that damn penny.
Thank you for the $2, Mo.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to be leaving us sadly.
I do.
So,
yeah. Appreciate you guys having me on again. Anybody else out there? I got a channel. I do several things on my channel. I've been over the last 7 years or so, I focused on many subjects. One that's come to the forefront recently that's kind of interesting to see how people are dealing with it now, and that's DEI. I've been looking at that since 2017 or so, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. It's kind of interesting. But other than that, on Thursdays, I do a show called TED Excellence at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I take a look at TEDx Talks or TED Talks, depending on the circumstances. We play TEDx Bingo for commonalities between these things for fun and analysis, and always fun, and try to learn something along the way. But guys, thanks so much for having me on. Nice talking movies with you, and I will see you all in the next one.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one. All right. While we have a break here, and this is why I waited to do the super chats until now, because I knew Scribe had to get out of here. Six sends us a super sticker with a very disappointed look on her face. She's disappointed as usual. Accident Seller sends in 200 Norwegian krona and says, Thomas Crown Affair has the best love story, The Windmills of Your Mind, great lyrics by the Bergmans, plus great melody by Michael Legrand.
Michel Legrand, sorry.
Yeah. As the images unwind like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind. The only version of that I really remember is the one from the Muppets. But I do know the song, yeah. And it's been so long since I've seen the Thomas Crown Affair. But yeah. And then we've got Six saying, I'm just kidding. I love The Princess Bride, but I made screenshots of everyone giving me shit, and you're dead to me.
I didn't give you any crap for that. Nice.
And then Six sends in 5 and says, my number one romance has been tracking Taylor Swift's journey from Japan to the US this weekend in my family group chat, courtesy of my niece. Go Bears. Yeah, there you go.
So Bears. They're not going to smell the Super Bowl for years. The Bears.
Indeed.
All
right.
The Bears.
Let's keep rolling here. We've got Price of Reason with Starman, and that was also 70 Rock fans number 4. That was his porno pick.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, and it is a romance. I mean, it's weird, and it's kind of sci-fi.
Gave her a baby.
He did with those balls that he had, those balls that he played around with, if you know what I mean.
Yes, he did.
It's interesting because Carpenter doesn't normally do romance, particularly. Doesn't mean he doesn't have couples in his movies, but you know, the romance, sensitive romance too, is very central to this.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
movie.
it's uncharacteristic, but I think it's well handled, and I really like the fact that at the beginning she's scared of him. First of all, the idea that he comes back and he looks like her late husband is already cool.
It's a dirty trick. That's right.
And then that initially she's scared of him, but she gradually sees, like, when he uses one of those balls on the deer and wakes it up, and she sees that he's actually a good person or good alien or whatever he's supposed to be, and that she changes her mind about him. I just like it. I don't know. I like everything that happens in this movie. I don't know if this movie even did well when it came out, but from the
well,
first time
I know I can
saw
get
it,
this right. This is actually John Carpenter's highest grossing film. This time I know I'm correct.
Didn't do incredibly well at that, though, did it? Really?
It did okay, but also you have the prestigiousness of Jeff Bridges getting nominated. It was his biggest studio film, etc., etc. But yeah.
Six left a comment, and she says, "Price, can I play with your balls?" and
Oh
I think I would be open to such ideas.
Oh.
Yeah, it's beautifully
Hello.
beautifully acted. I mean, it was a dirty trick inhabiting a lookalike body to her late husband, but she falls in love with him, with the alien, as we know he is, of course, the other, and yet they form this bond and fall in love. It's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful romance. Two great actors as well. So, again,
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it, and it probably would have. I know I keep saying this about every movie, but it's like the thing about this romances in these films. You guys picked a lot of great movies, so.
And I just happen to be a big John Carpenter and science fiction fan, so it was tolerable to have a romance in this one.
We almost
Right,
should
but
have called this.
it's very much a romance. It's more. I mean,
Yeah.
the Terminator I also think is a romance, but this is really a romance.
It is. It is. It's a
Almost should have
beautiful
called
movie.
this romance films that guys actually will watch.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous, a beautiful story and a beautiful movie. Like sensitive, beautiful movie. Indeed.
I hate to break this to you, Six. That's not how it works. All right, moving on. CC.
This is a good one.
Berserk: The Battle for Daldry.
I
There
love
you
this
go.
one. Love it.
So Berserk
wa-
is one of the greatest works of art in all of history.
Yeah.
And if I can find a way to get it onto a top list, it's gonna find its way on there. There is a movie, so it counts. But I had to cheat a little bit because it's the middle chapter of the Golden Age arc, which is one arc of many arcs. It's a much bigger story. But the battle for Daldry itself is so crucial to this romance, as the picture would let you know. If you don't know Berserk, if you haven't checked it out, you need to. Even if just to appreciate the artwork, but it has a fantastic story to go with it. And this romance, it hits hard. I mean, this is so much that happens in this chapter. From the battle itself to them, I don't want to spoil it. This is something you don't want to spoil. But to this moment after they fall off the cliff, to just search YouTube for Guts versus 100 Men, and that's just it. When you take into account Guts's history with abuse and Casca, her kind of exterior, this is a moment for both of them that just changes them. It transcends their limits, and it has incredible repercussions for the rest of the story. When you consider how Griffith reacts, and when we get to bromances, that this is something to be said for that. It just, I'm not really sure at this moment because there's way too much to unpack in a couple of minutes, so I could go on for hours. But check it out. It's worthwhile.
Yeah, nice choice, CC. Good one.
All right. I've never seen it, so I can't speak on it. And
I've never seen it either.
Unless anybody else has anything to say on it.
Yeah, drop a link in the private chat if you can.
The story's been going on for decades.
Okay.
So, there's a lot.
I need 10 years to get going on.
Homework. You have to do homework.
Homework. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, my favorite. All right, moving on. We've got 70s rock fan with The Bridges of Madison County, a Meryl Streep and Eastwood classic.
What can I say? The only time I've ever cried so much at a movie was when Maximus died in Gladiator. I've just before I talk about this, honorable mentions. I know we might not have time at the end. Lady Hawk would be one, and Someone to Watch Over Me, Ridley Scott, that I'd forgotten about until I did my list, or I may well have made the top 5. I don't know what I would have dropped. Oh, that was weird.
What the hell happened?
Are we still going?
I think so.
Anyway, this is actually not a movie I saw when it was released at the cinema. It was one of the Clint Eastwood movies I didn't go and see in the cinema because I went, oh, that's a sloppy romance. I'm not interested in that. And then Mrs. Rock fan, the current Mrs. Rock fan, and has been for many, many years, she said, oh, you've never seen The Bridges of Madison County. So we rented it and I watched it, and I was absolutely blown away about how great a movie it was and what towering performances these two actors put on. And it's like Brief Encounter at the start of my list. It's a romance that's doomed not to be able to be fulfilled, although in this case at least they consummate it.
I was gonna say, basically, this is a true story about a slutty wife in Wisconsin, but yeah, they try to make it out to be a romance. But yeah,
he's got no commitments, but she has a family, a husband, and kids. And it's discovered years later when she passes away, and her kids discover this stuff from this photographer that they've never heard of. And it turns out that he was photographing the bridges. The two met and they fell in love. And she makes the agonizing choice at the end not to abandon her family and her husband because they've done nothing wrong, and instead abandons him. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. It was a shitty thing that she did in the first place.
Yeah, no, I get where you guys are, and I'm not trying to shit on this movie because this, yeah, like,
but it's so emotionally charged. It's unbelievable. You have to see it to get it. It's again unrequited love. If they'd met long ago, they would have been the right people for each other. This time,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead, mate.
I wanted to say that I've never watched this movie for the exact reason why you mentioned that you didn't see it. Because when I think of Clint Eastwood, I don't want to see him in a romance with Meryl Streep. I want to see him pull out a gun, maybe walk around like with a cowboy hat. And if there's a few guys next to the saloon that are bothering him, I want him to shoot him. Or if he's Dirty Harry, I want him to walk around with a gun. And if there's some criminals, I want him to pull out a gun and shoot him.
Yeah,
he pulls out a gun and shoots Meryl Streep. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I kept expecting that to happen, but it's incredibly charged, emotionally charged, and the final few minutes are just heartrending. So, I had to put it at the top. It's probably the greatest romance I've ever been into in terms of a movie.
I've only seen it once, and that's all I needed.
And the bridges look really nice too.
That's where it ends. That's why it did that, Tox. I don't know why it won't let me go any further than this.
Anyway.
Error number 2.
Yeah. Let me refresh and see if that fixes it. Okay, there we go. Now that I refreshed. Okay. All right. Now we've got her. Evidently, there was some hiccup in Canva, but we're fixed now. So here we are, finally to the bottom of the list, kids. My number one pick almost was Muppets Take Manhattan, but instead, if it comes up, it's True Romance. It was also Price's number 2. And yeah, this is just a brilliant piece of cinema from Tony Scott and Quentin Tarantino. The perfect marriage, it felt like. Even Tarantino loves and adores this film. It's probably one of the closest films to his heart. And it was meant to be a counterpiece to Natural Born Killers, believe it or not. I know we were discussing.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. But the way that Oliver Stone had kind of changed some of the characteristics of the characters and casting of Woody Harrelson, made Tarantino go, yeah, that's not the movie it was meant to be, kind of thing. But yeah. So yeah, no, it's a movie about a guy who will do anything for this woman, and like Pretty Woman, it's kind of a more realistic version of that story, if you ask me, because she's a prostitute of sorts, and yeah, it's about this guy who wants to get her away from her pimp, and what he has to go through to do it. And I know that on the surface that doesn't maybe sound necessarily exciting to watch, but once you know that the script is pure Tarantino, I think that's all you need to know. I mean, the characters are engaging, the dialogue's engaging. You understand why these two fall in love and why, you know, these two will do anything for each other, kind of thing. And it is just a great film, especially when it comes to a love story. And it's almost kind of like one of those test movies too, like Princess Bride, that I like to watch with someone I'm dating, just to kind of see how they react to it. And if they see through the violence to see the actual true romance, which may be where the title partially comes from. And that I think that says a lot about them. But yeah, Price, this was number 1 or number 2 on your list as well. So
Right, and as opposed to the Natural Born Killers that you mentioned, that he was really upset that Oliver Stone took his script and completely changed it, he actually endorses and likes the version that Tony Scott did for this movie. There were a few minor things that I think Tony Scott, with a chronological, he didn't really want to do it that Tarantino style, that it's out of order or something like that, and maybe something about the ending, but for the most part, he kept it intact. And Tarantino always speaks very highly about how Tony Scott made this movie.
it's the only commentary he's ever done.
Right, and I think that I understand why he's happy with the result, because Tony Scott understood the value of the script, and I think that he brought it to life in a good way. And it has people that this is Christian Slater, his peak. This is the best you'll see of Christian Slater, in my opinion, and of Patricia Arquette, for that matter.
And as far as Natural Born Killers, he's never said who he would have casted instead of Woody Harrelson, because he says Juliette Lewis was perfect. But in my mind's eye, knowing at the time that he loved Brad Pitt in this movie, I would assume that he probably would have picked Brad Pitt for Natural Born Killers. That would have been my guess.
It's possible.
And, you know, and especially considering now he's like one of his favorite go-tos. But yeah.
Speaking of Natural Born Killers, I almost included Badlands in my list. It's in my top 10, definitely. Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek.
So much for cuffs.
Cuffs, yeah. Hey, Christian Slater's character has got the best dad in the world.
Yes.
He's got
Like,
the greatest
I mean,
dad.
Dennis Hopper in this movie. That's the other thing, is the supporting cast in this movie. You've got, as we already mentioned, Brad Pitt in a minor role. You've got Dennis Hopper. You've got Christopher Walken. You've got Gary Oldman. I'm sure I'm missing like a half a dozen more.
Gandolfini, yeah.
Gandolfini's in it. That's right.
Show. Even the guy
Bronson, that's
Balky,
right. Yes.
even he's good in this.
It's a great fucking cast, great fucking story. Just how it plays out, what the whole plot is. And I know
Val Kilmer plays Elvis. That's the thing that most people don't know. That the guy that's in the mirror.
Val
that's
Kilmer's
Elvis,
in it too. That's right. I totally
that's
spaced
Val
that out.
Kilmer.
Yeah. Tom Sizemore's in it too. Yeah. Great fucking cast. Great fucking cast. Saul Rubinek and Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson's in it too, isn't he? Yeah. A bit part, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I think even Sam Jackson has a small thing.
I think he is. Yeah.
Gary
And Saul
Oldman.
Rubinek's really good too. Yeah. Gary Oldman, I mentioned. Yeah. Yeah. He does it as that Rastafari and fucking.
That's right. It's so
I
funny.
love it. It's so great. It's so great.
So funny.
But you know, it's funny because I love listening to the commentary with Tarantino, because he just gushes about how much everybody loved Brad Pitt's character in the movie. He's just a stoner on the couch. That's his whole role. Some fucking surfer dude, but yeah. But no, all right. So yeah, unless anybody else has anything to say about True Romance, I think we've extinguished our list. And thanks for viewing, as it says. So I'm going to bring this down now. We got one more member chat here. Look at this. D. Bud Martin, for 31 months, been a member. Says, heartless bastards. Rocky 3 is the greatest love story of all. Rocky loves Apollo forever. May Dolph punch you as a punishment. Punch. Well, it's funny. I think I already brought this up earlier, but I thought about doing it as bromance, our top 5 bromance films. And I think Rocky 3 would have been on many a
We'll
list.
do that as another show.
Maybe next year we'll do bromance. But
So
yeah,
we
I
can
want
use
to
it with us. Yeah.
thank everybody for a very successful shit list this week. I think we did all right. Considering we had some competition with the Super Bowl. We're going to end our poll right now. The choices were your favorite Valentine treat. Was it chocolate, the little sweethearts, heart-shaped pizza or booze. And it was down between booze and chocolate. The chocolate won by
Damn right.
by a
Recount.
slim margin of about 16%.
Good choice. Depends where you smear the chocolate as well.
Oh shit. Oh man. All right. So let's quickly go around the horn here, and then we'll send you on over to Culture Casino, who should be live already. Starting with CC, what you got going on besides Loki Oki? Anything else?
I promised to cock culture stream after this ends, so you'll find me over there.
All right, and of course you can find him on Loki stream and karaoke on Friday evenings.
Yeah, that's the main gig. Friday night karaoke.
Which we
Usually
tend to
with
call
Tom.
Loki Oki as a combo. Yeah,
Yeah. Usually with Tom and Price as well. So
indeed.
familiar faces.
We got Brian. What you got coming up? You got a 200 something or other, your birthday tomorrow or something.
No, it's
You're 200 years old. That's what I thought you said.
Methuselah special. I realized that I'd actually passed the 2-year mark for the regular Monday live shows on my channel. It's Only Talk and Roll, and also Canon Film Club and Cult Comedy Crew. They're all Monday 3 p.m. Mountain Time, and it's 2 years in January since I started those. I'd forgotten all about that, so I thought, hey, let's just be lazy, call it a 2-year celebration, and invite a ton of people, so I don't have to do so much prep as normal. So that's the plan. But yeah, we're going to talk about some various things. I got a few fun things lined up, and we'll look at a few trailers for stuff that's coming out. Lots of guests. They can talk about what they're
I
up to.
thought it was going to be your 200th birthday. I was going to be there.
That was what, 50, 60 years ago. Come on.
Oh,
Tom.
okay.
And I still never got a card from you.
So confused. That's probably why I didn't realize. Maybe I thought it was your anniversary.
So we'll have some fun. I mean, looking back on the 2 years, it's been a lot of fun. We've done some great shows and had some have had quite a few thousand views, and quite a few people turned up, and some great guests, some of whom may turn up tomorrow. I'm hoping.
Awesome.
And people like that. Well, I asked a few people. They said they're going to try. So, and Tom, you might be there, and you guys might all be there.
Mondays are sucky for me, but I will do my best. We
Just pop in for a few minutes, mate.
No problem. Speaking of popping in, Kitty Bear popping in a last minute super chat here with 2 euros. Since I finally get off the toilet, having the runs show over. I'm sorry you have the runs. Whatever it was you ate, don't eat it again.
Technically, the show's kind of running long, so
it is a little. We're trying to get out of here though. And then we got Dearest sending us in. Let's see here. What is it? Dearest sending us a rose. Well, thank you, Dearest. And Jason Saurus Rex. I don't know where I got Johannes from. Jason Saurus Rex gifted a membership. Thank you for that, Jason Saurus Rex. We appreciate that. At the channel. And with that, we got Price left. What do you got coming up?
I have on Thursdays, I do Quantum Leap on my live channel, where we go over the original series, the classic Quantum Leap. I also posted a video in the past few days that seemed to stir up a little bit of controversy or something. More people were kind of whining about it than usual, but it was about how the BBC and possibly Disney hired some activist writer, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So if anybody feels like it, that's a good video to check out.
I'd be more surprised if they hired a writer that wasn't an activist these days.
At this point, if they hired a non-activist, people would be surprised. Yeah, but it's still an interesting story, I think.
All right, Toxie, what you got going on?
Absolutely nothing. Going over to Culture after this to spend some time over there. Saying hello to my lovely brother, Culture Casino. And then Monday, we've got Monday Meltdown. Are you guys doing a Toxic Femme?
I think so. I think we're finally going to be back tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So hopefully looking forward to seeing that. Monday Meltdown on Comics Division's channel at 9 p.m. Central. I will do my best to catch what 70s is doing in the afternoon. He's got some great shows, and it sucks that I'm working during the time that he's doing those.
That's okay. I did that deliberately.
I know. You don't want me on there. I know how it is. That's why your shows are good.
Just kidding.
But and then Wednesday we'll be over on Rumble Comics Division for Yelling Park Cars. And Thursday, Comics does Geeks and Gamers Tabletop at noon Central, and we'll be doing 9 o'clock Central for Thursday Throwdown, of which I think Tom is in the credits.
Finally.
Well, you're in the Monday Meltdown credits too.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's the one I was bitching about.
Well, I put you in the Thursday credits first, where you're flying a helicopter and blowing up Alex Kurtzman.
I know. I want to change that.
Okay, what do you want to do next? I'm all for it. Let's change it up.
Something. I'm gonna come up with something.
Okay. Put you in a tank.
He wants to blow something, not blow something up.
We could put you like James Garner in the movie Tank. We could.
That's a good movie.
Or I was thinking about trying to reface you in John Belushi's character in 1941.
That would be funny too.
Mhm.
That would be funny if I'm blowing up like the Mutant Mayhems.
Oh,
Turtles.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Or no, better yet, like Kevin Smith and Seth Rogen.
Oh, yeah. They'd just be like sitting at a coffee shop.
Yes. Just blow them fat fucks up. Cheesy Tarian has been gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Cheesy Tarian. It's like he's got a Beethoven puppy on his icon there.
Oh, it's a big dog.
We like stuff like that. Oh, what the fuck I do? I fucked something up here. I was trying to do out our credits. Well, we're not doing the credits because I fucked them up. But Six sent us a heart puppy. Thank you so much for the $10 super sticker, Six. You've been very generous tonight. Sad that you weren't here. But hopefully next week you get to join us if not. But with that, we are going to head on over to Cultures, and I'll just send you out on the regular opening because I didn't have the credits ready. I'm sorry.
You complete me. Just had.
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.